Hey guys, and welcome to the Death Before Dishonour Season 2 final! I'm very excited to bring this to you guys. It's been a little while, we've already quite deep into Season 3 already, with just one qualifier left and of course the finals, but we are here. It is time. It takes a little while of course to get all the players on the same day who can play, but I'm very excited to announce our lineup. So let's have a little look who we've got in. And in game one, we do have the mighty and extreme meme team flying Taco on the left-hand flank up against Dutch Skink, who is representing, he's the champion, the embodiment of Lord Zeus, who unfortunately couldn't make it today. Up in round two, we have Chosen One representing ODM up against Noob for Life, another extreme meme team member, so they are representing quite hard here. Dutch Skink says he is stressing. There is no worries, man. Looks like those guys are just exchanging pleasantries. And Taco is going Lizardmen, so Noob for Life, this is your time to shine. You do, in fact, have your wish. I hope you guys are doing all good today. I am so excited for this. We're going to see some really elite play for very top-tier players here. Should be some good fun. And this will finally get Season 2 wrapped up before moving into Season 3. And we already have 3 finalists for that already. A-Move Hacker, Chosen One, and Flying Taco. So those guys will be playing in 2 tournaments overall. Looks like Dutch Skink is actually going to be taking Vampire Counts into Lizardmen. That is pretty insane, but maybe he knows something we don't know. This is normally a matchup that heavily favours Lizardmen in my personal, humble opinion. Yo, dog. How's it going, man? Hola to you as well. Hope you're doing good today. Love the little profile picture. Should be good fun. Need for Life, do you have any secret tactics you want to share with chat? Run by them before you do hop in. Of course, he'll be in round 2. So, in round 1, we are going to be playing on Troll Country, Altdorf, Outskirts, and Central Chaos Wastes. Of course, the semi-finals are best of 3. And then Chosen One vs Noob for Life, where we played on Glacial Lake, River Maxon, and Mirror Woods. And the finals will be El Anguil, Pellet of Bone, Alpine Ridge, I can't say this next one, Schwafserhafen is what I'm going to go with, and Kelp and Coldust, if it does go all the way, as the finals are in fact best of 5. What's up, Shetland? How's it going, man? Ooh, Dutch Skink. Okay, Darv gave him some tips. For those who don't know, Darv Plays is a YouTuber, super nice guy, and does very good content, so I highly recommend checking him out after this stream as well. I believe he actually might be streaming currently, or hopefully he's just finished stream. That'd be a perfect timing, but we'll see. We will see. But yeah, do you guys want to see something really scary while these guys are picking their builds? It will, like, freak you out, though. Like, I will warn you, it's pretty traumatizing. But if you guys think you're bold enough, I can show you something real creepy. Alright, watch this. Look at your screens. BAM! Ah! Face cam! I in fact have a face cam, don't worry. I'm not a Rubber Duck of War. Rubber Duck of War is... which side? That side! Right there. That little guy right there. He's the mastermind behind the whole channel. If he had limbs, he would be a beast at Total War. Unfortunately, I have to be here to help support him a little bit. But yeah, not going to be using face cam, of course, for this stream because there's no need to Total War. We're here to see violence and pixels kill pixels. But if you do want to see my glorious face in all its beauty as much as possible, do you have a Senor? What's it called? Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, I believe, stream up, where you get to look at this beautiful face for a couple of hours. But anyway, there we go. I've saved you from the horrors. From the pure horrors. Cool, looks like these guys are still deciding their matchups here. Who is your money on? Dutch Skink has kind of self-titled himself here as a underdog, but you'll never know. Flying Taco is ready by the looks of it. Dropping that good old good luck, have fun. And Dutch Skink is ready as well. So without further ado, let's hop into this. Should be pretty exciting stuff. So Darv gave you some trips, so it's Gorse Train. Will be interesting. Poison Ducky! How's it going, bro? My poison brethren. Always good to see you around, man. I have to get you back into one of these as soon as possible. Poison Ducky, again, much like Darth Plays, is a legendary YouTuber. There's lots of Total War content and other content as well. So if you like my stuff, you will most certainly like his as well. We are going to be playing on, of course, Troll Country for our first map. It's kind of a classic on my streams to start on this map because it is a real blood and thunder affair. Gets the battle away very quickly. Both players loaded in super quick here as well. So let's have a little look at Flying Taco's build. For his leadership, oh, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, the fat boy, Lovecraftian creature that is Lord Mazdamundi. On top of Slack here, coming in with a meaty 7,500 health, Shield of the Old Ones, Apotheosis, Harmonic Convergence, and Net. Nice little toolkit indeed. Now we also have, no way, a Dreadsaurian. Rocking the standard Dreadsaurian here, not the Feral or the Regiment Renowned. Again, huge damage dealer in general, and a Feral Carnosaur to boot as well. So I'm expecting a little bit of a death blob, as we can see. It is supported by 2 units of Temple Guard in the rear here, and 2 Saurus Warriors on each flank, with a basic Temple Guard in the front line. So unfortunately, no room for the Regiment Renowned version, but still pretty damn cool build, going for the death blob. Lots of big dinosaurs to inspect as well. Now if we go over to Dutch Skink's build here, in the front line we do have a large amount of zombies just to soak up some damage in general. For his main battle line we do have skeleton warriors, it looks like all the way across, so a ton of skeleton warriors into the sunset here. A couple units of Grave Guard in reserve, one of them being the Sternsman, Regiment Renowned version. Not only do they look cooler, these guys are just so goddamn sticky to get rid of. For his lord we do have, well, we have 2 White Kings for 1 as bodyguards for his lord, and it looks like we have Vlad von Carstein himself coming down on foot. An incredibly tanky lord, and this hero core can do some decent damage. Now, do White Kings do anti-large? No, they do anti-infantry. That is a shame, they'd be good up against the big dinos. We do have a corpse cart as well with Unholy Lodestone in the back here supporting. And over in the trees, we do have Blood Knights mixed in with some Hex Wraiths. So 2 units of Blood Knights and some Hex Wraiths. These guys could do some serious work, but of course, Lord Mazdamundi, does he have Ruination of Cities? No, he doesn't. Okay, that could be a little bit of a problem trying to get rid of those guys. Looks like we are ready to get underway. The Madman. The Madman! What's up, Raptor? Hope you're doing good. And the battle is underway. Good luck, have fun. Nice, nice. Always good to see good sportsmanship. That is how you get invited into these tournaments, or invited back at least. And of course, Death Before Dishonour, you would rather lose than dishonour yourself by cheating or any of that nasty stuff, hence the name. So Dreadsaurian is pushing up now, getting some early shots into some zombies, not that they're mind too much. Probably quite happy to get put out of their misery in general. And we have a nice high ground up here as well for the Lizardmen. He can stand and shoot the Dreadsaurian and force the vampire counts forward. And there's not too much they can do about it, unfortunately. Hex Wraiths are going to be a bit of a problem to deal with. Lord Mazdamundi doesn't really have any damage dealing, magical attack, so these guys are going to be a pain in the arse to deal with. But if he can deal with the rest of the army, it won't be too bad. He needs to make sure he doesn't overextend with the Dreadsaurian, Carnosaur, and Lord Mazdamundi. It's super tempting, but if those Blood Knights manage to isolate them and hop on top of them, they will go down relatively quickly. We see the front line is about to engage. We do have Blood Knights running down the middle of 2 zombies into the Temple Guard for a little bit of a sug charge. It looks like a bit of a limp one there. They kind of just walked into the front line. That has lured out the Dreadsaurian and Feral Carnosaur. These guys need to fall back now, get away from those Temple Guard, try and drag the Dreadsaurian out into the open, and this Carnosaur, which looks like it's working pretty good, but Flying Taco, oh no, Carnosaur just turned around to attack a little bit. Big Mazdamundi does go into these Hex Wraiths here, but I do not believe he does magic damage. No, he does not. So he's going to struggle a little bit, actually putting a full hurt on those guys. Zombies doing what zombies do best, just eating the Saurus here, well, getting eaten by Saurus, but hopefully it will make them quite sick and slowly lower their health and so forth. Big Shield of the Odd One pops. Look how many units it is containing. These Temple Guards might as well turn and engage in the front line. And we do have a big net coming down on these Blood Knights, allowing the Feral Carnosaur to get in there and do some action. In fact, the Dreadsaurian and Lord Mazdamundi are coming over here, trying to isolate and stomp out that one unit. Hex Wraiths really need to get engaged in combat now. Frontline will slowly start to favour the vampire counts, you'd assume, without the support of these big dinos, and in fact the Temple Guard in the front line really starting to struggle. Harmonic Convergence has been popped on them, cold-blooded to keep them fighting as well, but slowly being ground out by the sheer weight of the Grave Guard. Over on this left-hand flank, however, Blood Knights really need to escape. Invocation the Heck is popped to them, trying to heal them up, which is some nice play there by Dutch Skink. They came in here and took a bit of a beating. The 3 dinos still very healthy. We still have a unit of Temple Guard and Saurus, which have not been committed to the fight just yet, but I'm surprised it is not going too bad for the undead so far. Yes, they've taken heavy casualties on the zombies and so forth, and Skeleton Warriors taken a bit of beating. They have managed to drag down 1 unit of Temple Guard, which is currently terrified and fleeing for the hills. The Saurus do run in to come in for a bit of protection there indeed. Blood Knights and Hex Wraiths lurking around the outside here, dragging these Temple Guard out of position. I would now hop on them with the Hex Wraiths, possibly pin them down, then loop the Blood Knights around and try and get on top of some of these big targets. Judge Sorin up to 67 kills here, doing his little best, trying to get on top of those Blood Knights, but they do have an invocation of them, and they are down for the scrap. They come swooping in, and looks like these Saurus are going to have to try pretty hard here to protect the flank of the Dreadsaurian. That is the problem. He has a really low melee defense of 26 and takes a ton of hits from pretty much everyone. Vlad, incredibly tanky here, is dueling Lord Mazdamundi, who does have Master of Bewilderment? Minus 40 melee attack, whatever it is, down on him, so he's not doing too much damage, and is in fact being forced back here. X-Rays getting some nice cycle charging into the Feral Carnosaur, not doing too much damage though. It looks like these Temple Guard do have a unit of zombies being summoned on them as well, and you can see the whole battlefield is not being used. The entire fight is in this one little blob here, which suits the Lizardmen quite nicely. Another shield of the old ones going down as well, allowing these Temple Guard quite easily to deal with these zombies who are now already crumbling. But in the front line, Saurus Warriors slowly getting beat up here, Temple Guard as well being dragged down. It is realistically going to be the big dinos standing alone, which is one fairly healthy unit of Temple Guard as well, but that will allow the Blood Knights to swoop in and do some serious damage here. Balance power is in fact going in favour of the Vampire Counts, and I'm going to start looking a little bit stupid, eating my own words here, saying this is such a tough matchup for the Counts. Dutch Skink making it look relatively comfortable so far, but never count out the Flying Taco, especially when he has so many healthy big monsters at his disposal. Looks like he may be coming in now to try and snipe down some of these characters, get rid of the White Kings and so forth, help break the leadership of this Counts build. Over on this flank, Temple Guard have been isolated, but they're going up against zombies and skeleton warriors. Should be able to deal with them relatively effectively, unless cycle charging comes in the rear from these Blood Knights. In the distance, we do have the Hex Wraiths, who are still relatively healthy, chasing down the last of the Temple Guard. Just 6 of those guys left, and they've still not shattered. That shows how loyal and elite those guys are. In the distance, Blood Knights also being used to chase down Saurus Warriors as well. Good, diligent play coming in from the Dutch Stinker. We do have a very healthy unit of Temple Guard though, up to 74 kills, protecting the Dread Saurian. Mazdamundi now trying to run over and help this beleaguered unit on the front line, which is a really decent play. These guys have so much value left in them if you give them a little bit of support. Mazdamundi destroying some skeletons there in the front, but Blood Knights now coming in for a nice charge on these Temple Guard, trying to get rid of them. Pretty good idea to get rid of those guys and then surround and focus down the big dinosaurs at the end. Dread Saurian and the Feral Carnosaur do not have the most health, and as you can see, this Feral Carnosaur is deep in enemy lines right now, completely surrounded, slowly getting hacked apart, but Harmonic Convergence is popped on him, and he goes flying through the lines back towards his friends, doing some decent work on the Sternsmen in general. So pretty interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if the constant cycle charge of the Blood Knights will be able to succeed here. Downhill charge into the rear of these Temple Guard here can do a ton of damage. We do get a nice Apotheosis to counter some of that as well, getting some decent healing overall. Lord Mazdamundi lost about a third of his health here, more cycle charging coming in from Blood Knights, though the Feral Carnosaur is trying to react to it, come down, and any model he can take off them and force more spells out is good value overall. But the leadership core here of these 2 White Kings and Vlad von Carlstein just cannot be sniped. It is so sticky and tough, and the Dread Saurian's having a really tough time here. Of course, minus 40 melee attack will not be helping him at all either. He's lurking there, looking down at Vlad, but deciding he's going to go over here and try and charge the Blood Knight. To be really good play here if he can get rid of these mobile units. And they're going to cycle charge consistently throughout the battle, which is the best way for them to do it realistically. And Dread Saurian taking down a few of them as they do try and flee here. Feral Carnosaur as well, doing his little best here, waddling after these guys as they do flee, but he is way overextended now. I would take the Blood Knights and the Hex Wraiths, just surround him and start beating him down as soon as that Harmonic Convergence does disappear. Or maybe you could come over here and pin in the Dread Saurian, I suppose, and help out in this frontline engagement. Temple Guard starting to waver here. They're very tight. 157 kills is very impressive. They're surrounded by so many enemies. Even with the Dread Saurian nearby, these guys are starting to waver. Just so much damage has been sustained. Feral Carnosaur being allowed to come back into the action here, though I think that is a little bit of a mistake. But it looks like he instead is going to try and isolate the Dread Saurian. Not too bad. He does manage to break his leadership, as we see. It is tanking quite heavily there. That'd be a very nice pick. White Kings are surrounding Lord Mazdamundi himself here, but another Shield of the Old One goes in, protecting these guys with that 22% damage resistance and 8% leadership as well, or plus 8 leadership. Does really help out, and those Temple Guard, cold-blooded, keep them in the action as well. 175 kills, but getting very, very low indeed. Dread Saurian and Carnosaur kind of going for like a little bromance over on this left-hand flank, teaming up on some zombies who have been summoned here, but balance power is slipping further and further away here from the dinosaurs. Blood Knights and Hex Wraiths coming in for another charge here on top of Mazdamundi. It looks like trying to pin him in place. Minus 40 melee attack once again popped on him, so he's not going to be doing much damage at all. Melee attack down to 0, which is really not good. I think if he had bought Ruination of Cities, this game is a completely different game overall. The Lizardmen would be slaughtering right now. Imagine a forgotten the name of the thing even though I just said it, but the his big area of effect spell coming down on these blobs, it would destroy the Hex Wraiths instantly and also crump a lot of this chaff as well, allowing the big dinosaurs to focus down these characters. However, Flying Taco is not out of this yet. White King down to 510 health, getting isolated here, and he should be finished off. He can now focus down the heroes and get rid of this corpse cut with the unholy lodestone. He would be in actually a relatively decent shape. Bounce power very against him. The Blood Knights, some of them are slowly catching up to their healing cap, and they don't want to fight these three monsters on their own. They really need that hero support. And down here, one of the White Kings is about to fall by the looks of it. One of them still got 1,700 health. The second one, unfortunately, a little bit more beat up here. Where is it? Just down to the 450. Once again, more cycle charging coming in from the Blood Knights, and that's the aim of the game at the moment. Just keep these guys moving. Doesn't want to get them stuck. You can see these Blood Knights taking a huge pounding overall. But a lot of the Vampire Count's forces are starting to crumble here, which could spell disaster. He's in a very comfortable position at the moment, but another shield of the old ones goes down. These guys are just not dying. Great healing that has come across as well with those apotheosis. And Pharaoh Consort running back into the fray once again. And so many units are getting beat up. He's probably going to focus down at the hero core. Looks like Vlad has reached his healing cap as well. These Blood Knights doing serious work, constantly once again reforming the line and charging back into the fray over and over again, trying their best. And I'm really impressed with this Vampire Count build. It's done some serious work. Once again, I think Ruination Cities or even a Banishment or two really would have swung the game in the Lisman's favour a lot more early than it currently is. But he's fighting back. The Counts are slowly exhausting all of their resources here, and they're being dragged down. They're soaring up to Silver Chevron now, does send a couple of Skeleton Warriors flying here. These guys are still holding on here by a brink now. I mean, the Blood Knights still have a decent amount of value left. They do not want to stand and fight. It looks like, though, the Feral Carnosaur, this could be disaster if he does break. Dutch Skink certainly has the tools to chase him off the battlefield, and he's routing. And down he goes. Army losses creeps in, and is a win for the Counts. That is insane. That would have been insane. But GG's overall. Well played to both players there. What's up, Ronin? I see you in chat, man. Hope you're doing good. But yeah, I 100% agree with you guys. Ruination of Cities or Banishment would have won this game for the Lizardmen. 340 kills on the Dreadsaw and big kills all around by the Lizardmen. But it just wasn't enough with really good, effective cycle charging. Anyone new to the game, that's how you want to use Cav against big dinosaurs. Don't just charge them in and let them get stuck in and slowly drag down. Go in, do that shock damage, fall back, and then go back in again. Think feed in, Lord of the Rings, reform the line, sound charge. That is the way to play this. Dang, I always hated this matchup. Well played. GG. The next map will be Outdoor Outskirts. And don't worry, guys, I will come and chat with you guys in a second while these guys are setting up their builds. So, Dutch to pick and ban 2. Outdoor Outskirts it is. How did you guys find that? It was pretty damn awesome. Let's see what you guys were saying. Vlad will become the true Emperor of the Sky in this matchup. He did indeed. What's up, Pat Mac? See that he just popped in, going to go have some dinner. No worries. This will, of course, be fully uploaded like all the other streams are. It takes an hour or two after they've been completed, but they will be up. So if you guys have to dip out at any point, don't worry. You can come back and watch it all in the future. Yeah, he does kill a lot of models, but he did struggle. I think the Hex Wraiths were pretty useful. Maybe didn't do as much damage as I thought they were going to be. But yeah, Croak action here. I definitely agree with Shetland. Croak would have been insane, just nuking that blob there. But the lack of banishment, ruination of cities and so forth really did end up costing Flying Taco in the end. Nice to hear you're doing good, Ronan. Hope you're good and healthy. I know you are in Italy and there's a big outbreak over there at the moment of the horrible virus, so I hope you are keeping safe. So, Dutch Skink is going to go Lizardmen. So, New for Life is going to be a very happy man, seeing a lot of Lizardmen action. Banning Skaven and Dwarfs, two very good matchups to ban. They just have so much long-range tools to deal with you, especially Dwarfs is a horrible matchup. I have a few Lizardman builds I like to take against them. I'm going very wide with a mixture of Skinks, Reckless Skinks, normal Skinks and Saurus, and then a ton of feral dinosaurs, which can work quite well. It looks like Flying Taco is going to go Tomb Kings. Nice to see those guys being used. Also, a pretty good army up against dinosaurs. You chopped with Great Bows, bane of my existence, as I said many times, can do some decent work up against Lizardmen. However, Salamanders can do serious work in this matchup. bring in 2 or 3 units of them, maybe even the Umbral Tide as well, can do huge damage up against those large constructs. Even the ones which have fire resist, they just tear them apart so quickly, and then you've got enough about you to win that front line. So unfortunately Zeus couldn't make it Stormrunner, which is very sad. So Dutch Skink is his embodiment in the physical form, and his #1 champion, so he's been brought to the fray instead, fighting for Zeus's honour. Can go to buy stuff though, nice. Nice, at least that's a bit of a bonus. Yeah man, it sucks. Hopefully it'll be over fairly soon. I think they said there's going to be like a 3-week window where the virus will be particularly bad in whichever country it hits, and then it'll slowly die down. There is like no food in any of the shops around me, it's insane. People are like stocking up like mad. Cool. Oh, while I'm at this, I should probably remember to change the scoreboard. So Dutch Skink is up 1, and of course this is a best of 3 semi-finals. The next semi-final between the legendary and mighty Noob for Life. Do not let his name fool you. He's a very good player, not a noob at all. Up against the equally mighty and legendary Chosen One, which he's been done very good on my channel recently. Actually, he's won. I think he won the last Death Before Dishonour as well in a crazy 5-game series. This was in Season 3 up against Alric Ral, which was intense. It was really intense. All the games were so close. So you will be seeing him back as well in next season's final. Would love to see Sally here. Sallies are so nice. Does he auto lose? Well, Dutch Skink is kind of representing him, I suppose. So you can take it 2 ways. That if Dutch Skink wins the whole tournament, is that Zeus winning the tournament? Or is that a bit of a combination, a bit of team play, perhaps? Which would be good to see. If you guys do want to get involved in future tournaments, I do King of the Hills, tournaments like this, Death Before Dishonour, want to get a heads up on when I'm releasing content and all that good stuff, or just want to chat to a really nice group of people, I do have a link to my Discord just down in the description below. So feel free to hit that up, and you guys will, get to join us, have a little talk with me. I'm as friendly as a duck can be. And of course, guys, I'm sure you've all know this by now, but there's a magical like button just underneath the video, and also a subscribe button. If you press those buttons, guess what happens? A puppy is born into the world, as well as a kitten. We're expanding. We're trying to get into like little cute birds as well, but it's a bit tough market. But if you press those buttons, a puppy will be born into the world, and the world in general is a better place. Looks like Flying Taco has readied up. Gonna try this new build. Okay, so it's gonna be coming in with something maybe a little bit wild. Should be pretty interesting. And Dutch Skink, interested to see what he brings. I think Salamanders are so good in this matchup. Even the Razordons can do decent armor-piercing damage to the large constructs, and can be really good against large enemies in general and heavily armoured foes. If you want to see them used well, just try and check out any videos involving a move hacker. He's a master of using those hunting packs. So have a little sip of water, and we're good to go when Dutch Skink ready's up. Should be some good fun. So here, Flying Tacker might be changing 1 or 2 friends. Altdorf Outskirts, a map we've been bringing into the tournament scene a little bit recently in our tournaments. Super fun map, fairly open in points, but a lot of trees as well for sneaky stabbings and so forth. And some interesting ridge lines where you can actually hide pretty much in the open and kind of dodge long-range missile fire, which could be really useful for the Dutch Skink here. Never faced Tomb Kings as Lizmen. Okay, it's going to be a new experience for him. But Dutch Skink is ready. Just waiting on Flying Tacker to change one of the last 2 bits. Darth Pendragon, how's it going, bro? Hope you're all good, man. Don't worry, you haven't missed too much. Just the opening game in this first semi-final between Flying Tacker and Dutch Skink. And Dutch Skink actually managed to win it. Came through with counts up against Lizardmen and won, which was pretty insane. Pretty insane. It was a bit of a long, grindy fight, but still some really nice play. Good cycle charging. Kind of won him the game. And a lack of kind of area of effect spells kind of hamstringed Flying Tacker a bit, but he still almost pulled it through. Army losses kind of dragged him down at the end, unfortunately. But Flying Tacker not just fighting for his honour here, he's in fact my housemate's favourite player. So hopefully he can make my housemate very happy. Don't think he's currently in, but I'm sure he'll be watching with love heart eyes as soon as he gets back. So as I said, Altdorf Outskirts, and this ridgeline here is what I'm talking about. These hills can actually cover you for some long-range firepower. Okay, looks like we've got some interesting builds. Let's go through Flying Taco first, who is on the back foot, and he's brought the Screaming Meme Catapult. These guys, though, do a bit more damage than kind of people initially thought. Where have they gone to? Where are you? Oh, over here. So, Screaming Meme Catapult going to be forcing the dinos forward, which is quite nice. And it's going to be protected by the Kepper Guard as well. Regiment Renowned Tomb Guard here, which are huge damage dealers. Also come in with regeneration, which is quite nice. Now for the front line, we have Skeleton Spearman, so cheap and cheerful chaff. Just there to hold the front line while the rest of his army does the damage. We have 3 foot characters, very interesting. You'll normally see these guys on top of chariots. We have Arkham the Black on foot, bringing a ton of spells. He's got the Tomb Blade of Arkham. Of course, we have Staff Nagash, all that good stuff you'd expect, but also Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech. I wonder if this was a deliberate pick to bring him on foot. I hope he didn't do it accidentally. But I think, he knows what he's doing. So we've got 2 Necrotechs as well, going to be healing up those constructs. Speaking of constructs, we do have the Hero Titan, also now known as the Aero Titan in multiplayer because it's been made popular by Aerocrastic. Although Flying Taco might have been the one who told him to do it. I can't remember. Someone did. So it's going to be interesting to see how he works and what long-range damage he can do. Of course, he does come with the bound spells of Spirit Leech and Gaze of Nagash. Is that Gaze of Nagash? No, Shem's Burning Gaze is what I'm thinking. Shem's Burning Gaze. We also have a unit I'm a huge fan of recently, which is the Sneaky Snakes back here. These guys come in with that armor-piercing anti-large and, of course, Stalk. A massive pain to deal with. Once again, though, Salamanders can hunt them down. And look how awesome these guys look. Those face masks are one of the creepiest things. Probably under the face would be even creepier. So, once again, going for a little bit of a Death Blob build. We also have a Necro Sphinx as well. Very susceptible to long-range fire, however. So let's have a look at Dutch Skink fighting for glory here. We have Saurus Warriors in the front line mixed in with the cohort of Sotek, Regiment Renowned Skinks, who can refuse to die, which are pretty useful. They will lose HP, but not units. And Saurus into the sunset. We have a Feral Bastillodon, I think 2 of those guys, so we will call them Gary and Barry. We have the Star Chamber Guardians protecting a leadership corps of Gorok and a Skink Priest of Heavens here. Let's see what spells he has brought to the table. Looks like we have Curse of Midnight Wind, Wind Blast and Harmonic Convergence, some really good competitive picks overall. And Gorok, of course, is the tankiest of all boys. Then a huge cavalry corps here of Feral Cold Ones, 2 units of those. Should I use that 2 units or 4 units of Feral Cold Ones mixing with some Cold One Spear Riders. So going to be an interesting build indeed. And the Catapult is starting to launch shots into these Saurus Warriors, doing some okay damage off the bat. Some nice hits coming in there. And the animations look really cool as well. And that's what, what matters most in this game. What looks the coolest. More shots coming in. I'm assuming he's going to be switching to the cohort of Sotek relatively soon, possibly. Just to try and lower their numbers as well. Then again, actually breaking off a unit which you can actually route might be a better idea. Going to be interesting to see how this works and what he has to do with the big monsters. Big old Gorok here, the Great White Lizard, rocking in with both his abilities there and spells. Not spells, sorry, his items. And Star Chamber Guardians could be a really good answer to that Necro Sphinx and to the Hero Titan, but he has to get there first. There is some Skeleton Spearmen in the way, but this is a pretty flimsy front line. But the Kepper Guard should do a decent job at least holding up a little bit longer. Catapult looks like it is switching its fire to this next unit of Saurus Warriors originally before now aiming at the Star Chamber Guardians, which is a really good idea. He wants to get these guys as low as possible before they do engage. Any damage you can get on them is a bonus here. Feral Cold One's going to be pretty decent at breaking into the back line. There are a few holes he might be able to exploit, so it looks like some Spearmen are in fact being pulled back to deal with those guys, while the Kepper Guard take their place in the front line. So nice adjustment here coming in. And Shem's Burning Gaze does go down on the Skink Priest, doing some okay damage, nothing too crazy though. Necro Sphinx probably going to be pulled back as well to help protect this, and we do have the Leadership Corps as well, standing watch, protecting the almighty Screaming Catapult, which is up to 24 kills, not bad at all, and it is destroying these Star Chamber Guardians. I don't know if a Fate of Buna also went down on these guys, or if this is all work here coming in from the Screaming Catapult, but it's done huge damage. Looks like it has now switched its target to the front line as the battle is underway. Necro Sphinx needs to react here. He's currently just turning around now, but he's going to be turning and coming to attack the mighty Gary here. Hero Titan as well, probably wants to get engaged in the front line, although he's got to be a bit wary of the Star Chamber Guardians coming in. Now, assuming this is a Curse of Midnight Wind coming in, minus 30 armor and 24 melee attack, really nice play there. Look how much of his forces it is capturing. However, we do have the Liber Mortis as well popping down. In the front line, we do have Fate of Buna going down on the cohort of Sotek as they engage with the Kepper Guard here. Going to be absolutely tanking their health so much. Now, I'd probably pop Refuse to die on those guys if I was him. And the Hero Titan as well coming in to help deal with those guys. Looks like some Saurus Warriors are starting to push in on the Skeleton Warriors, who are falling back at this current time. And the backline hasn't fully got engaged. We do have a summoned unit of Skeleton Warriors as well. We're pinning in these Feral Cold Ones and protecting the Catapult for as long as possible. Looks like it is up to 37 kills now, aiming for the Skink Priest of Heavens because he is out of line of sight. not line of sight, but kind of out of the arc of the main battle. But this huge Rohirrim kind of feral Cold One build is coming around the side, and a nice surround coming with the Saurus Warriors, going to be putting huge pressure onto the Skeleton Spearmen in the back lines here. We do have the Stalkers as well, doing decent damage in the front line. I want to hop onto this Feral Bastiladon, finish him off as quickly as possible. Co-Health of Sotek, do have Shield of Eons, pops them, and so do all the troops nearby Gorok, but Hero Titan doesn't care too much about that. Gorok has found one of the Necrotechs here, and he will demolish him with all his buffs popped. And that Necrotech going down in a matter of seconds there. Nice Wind Blast as well, nuking some Skeleton Spear. Looks Sphinx really needs to come over here and help protect his hero core up against Gorok. Gorok is mighty indeed. Nice play though, getting the snakes on the Bastiladon, but the whole formation has been completely shattered for the most part by the Tomb Kings. Balance of power, however, is slightly in their favour at the moment. Nice long-range damage early on. Screaming Catapult still firing as well, which is nice to see. The Lizardmen are heavily pushing through this front line now. Star Chamber Guardians hopping on top of the Necro Sphinx, really not where that guy wants to be. Arc in the back, falling back into the back lines here to try and protect these Skeleton Spearmen, but they are slowly getting overrun here. Necrotech's very beaten up as well. These sneaky snakes are going to have to put this game on their back a little bit and destroy this feral Bastiladon before coming over and help to deal with the Cold One Spear Riders. It looks like the big Titans are going in, taking this engagement here, popping on top of the Star Chamber Guardians. We do have a Harmonic Convergence popped on them as well. They're trying their best. It looks like they have started to break these feral Cold Ones who are rampaging now, which is quite nice for them. And this unfortunate Gary here is going to be getting dragged down slowly. He can do a little bit of damage back, but nothing too spectacular, to be honest. Looks like the Screaming Catapult has spun around 360 to pop some shots into the back lines. And with a new Shopsy summon, this back line situation all of a sudden is looking so much nicer for Flying Taco. It nearly broke, but it looks like instead the Saurus Warriors are going to be the ones fleeing. If the Shopsy start to tidy up that back line just there. Across the rest of the battlefield, it is pretty 50-50 as far as it goes. Gorok is mighty in the centre pocket here, hunting down that Necro Sphinx wherever he can, but a nice restore going down on him, going to be keeping the action for the long term. Hero Titan as well, managing to route some feral Cold Ones, and will slowly deal with the Cold One Spear Riders with some assistance here from the Necro Sphinx. Now, how many Star Chamber Guardians are left? We still have 45 of those guys. That's a huge amount of damage output onto those large constructs, but they do need help. You can't just stand halberds on big dinosaurs and pray that they will tear them down. Feral Bastiladon does have stand your ground popped in right now, but slowly getting worked on by the Stalkers. They're taking their time to bring him down, however. It looks like he's very close to breaking now. Guard hopping down as well. Probably best to try and get those guys onto the Star Chamber Guardians and drag down as many as possible. Now, if we look at the peripheries of the battlefield, we have some feral Cold Ones who may come back. Some other ones have come back there as well, but is that it? Looks like for the most part, it is what you see is what you get. And I feel like the Tomb Kings are slowly grinding out the Lizardmen here. Really nice play by both players so far. That kind of backline almost got broken. I thought it was done for, and that they were going to get into that juicy back line, but no, really nice play with summons in the back line. Did manage to rally the Tomb Kings, and now the battle is going quite heavily in their favour. So they were saying good luck, have fun before the game. Cold One Spear Riders slowly getting beaten down by the Titan here, and Gorok stands alone in a sea of skeletons and big nasty constructs. And he's not going to last too long, although he has managed to find his favourite target here, a Necrotech once again. He's doing some decent work, but even the mighty Great White Lizard is being flung to the floor here. Gary coming in to try and save him. And this pocket may not go too bad for the Lizardmen. Possibly. There's kind of two pockets of strength at the moment. I don't think Gorok is going to be enough here to deal with this mighty Necro Sphinx. And the rest of the battle is slowly going away from the Dutch Skink, unfortunately, and the Lizardmen. So Lizardmen losing both opening games, which is horrifying to watch. My favourite dinosaurs are being routed off the field, but GG, we are going to be going to a third game here. Taco is here with every extreme meme timber. He is inside each one of us. He is all of us. He's one. Is there like a Spartacus moment where every time Flying Taco loses, another extreme meme timber pops up and it's like, I am Flying Taco, and it carries on. But really interesting build overall. 114 kills on the Guard really helped hold the line, and the Screaming Skull Catapult, getting my words mixed up there, really did some decent long-range damage to the Star Chamber Guardians and Saurus, allowing the Tomb Kings to kind of withstand that initial barrage. And really nice play, looping around the back, but I don't think feral Cold Ones are a good substitute for Cold One Riders overall. Cold One Riders pack so much more punch, and probably would have been able to break down that back line before the Shopsy summon did get brought into play, but still, GG. This ain't going well for the Lizardmen, indeed. Blind picks. Send me your choices. So, I will change the map now to Central Chaos Wastes. So we do, in fact, do blind picks if it goes all the way to this. So it goes to the decider. They will both send me their armies that they want to play in a private message, and they don't get to ban anyone, so you just pop in. What is the map? Central Chaos Wastes. And let's update the scoreboard while we think about it. Boop. So Flying Taco has fought back here. Check Discord, make sure we've got no problems. Cool, Dutch Skink, I have seen his one. He sent me that on Discord. How's that going? Cool, just message with him, sort that out quick. Cool. So I have tacos. Just discussing with Dutch Skink, he will be sorting out. He wanted to play counts again, but unfortunately you can only use a faction once per matchup. So we'll see, he is typing. My excitement is never ending. Damn it, I don't know, just a sec. No rush. Cool, cool. Cool, looks like he's just signed his matchup. So guys, as well, in chat, if you want to give a special thank you to Mr. Shetland Apache, who is currently in chat right now, as we are using rules that he helped design. So give him a little wave and a hello. Make him feel appreciated. That'd be quite nice. Be doing me a favour. Hey. We have an interesting matchup here. We have Vampire Coast up against Skaven, the two long-range factions. However, I think Coast have a bit of an advantage here because of the Mongols. The hero variety is so tough for the Skaven to deal with unless they bring a ton of magic damage, which they have the potential to do. But at the same time, they can just destroy you. They cause terror. They're great at getting rid of your infantry. They stalk as well, so you can't even shoot them from long range. They are a nightmare. They beat down your characters. I had a good game up against, I believe it was Sly and Sneaky Sil up on the channel a few videos ago, where you'll see them in action. Oh no, it was on Darvcast, sorry, so on Darv's channel, you'll see me using those guys to great effect, and basically won me the entire game. It was pretty crazy. Show me the Dowie! Unfortunately, no Dowie in this first semi-final, but hopefully we'll either have Noob for Life or Chosen One bringing the Dowie themselves. Maybe one of them will give you what you wish, which would be quite nice. Cool, cool. Just going to check Discord, make sure those guys had no questions. Oh, no, don't want to open up my email. My mouse is doing this thing where it kind of glitches at the moment, like jumps in little patches, so I need to get myself a new mouse before that gets too bad, but it should be fine for casting. Nah. So in this downtime, if you guys do have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a little sip of my water. Of course, this is just the first semi-finals. Up after this, Noob for Life will take on Chosen One in a best of 3 and come together for a best of 5 finals, which should be pretty exciting. My pleasure, Updike. Lots of people contribute to the rules. Nice, nice. They're a really good set of rules, to be honest. I think they work quite well. Those are like 2 big sets of rules going around at the moment. I haven't really tried the other ones out too much. I played in tournaments with them. I'm not sure what the major differences are, to be honest, but I know these rules best, so I kind of did them for my tournament. Maybe we'll try the other ones out at different points and then kind of bounce between the 2, perhaps, and see which one I like the most, but we'll see. Now, no Dowie, just lizards. Noob for Life, the only man who's allowed to use the same faction multiple times in a matchup, as long as it's just different versions of lizard men. Could be some good fun. Hope you guys are enjoying though. If you are, please do consider hitting that big old thumbs up button. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We do multiplayer videos. We are branching out to other games as well, but we mainly focus on Total War Warhammer, King of the Hills, tournaments, multiplayer replays, all that kind of good stuff. And of course, as we go into the Total Warhammer free kind of cycle of trailers and stuff, we'll be going over all of those, and every little bit of information that comes out we'll be delving into. I'm super excited. Mainly, I kind of praying that they bring in hobgoblins. I was more excited for Chaos Dwarfs, but someone explained hobgoblins are kind of like a Genghis Khan, like the Mongols style army, but with goblins. I was like, that'd be incredible. So I'm excited to see if that is a faction. It may not be, maybe a DLC or something, who knows. But yeah, if you want to stick with me in this journey, feel free. Feel free to hang out. Can't blame you. Coast. So Lord Zeus, who Dutch Skink is actually representing today, because unfortunately he couldn't make it, was talking to me earlier today where he thinks Vampire Coast are the most OP faction by far, and was kind of explaining to me in detail some of his builds. And I think they're top tier. I'm not sure, I'm not 100% convinced that they're like the most broken thing in the game, but they are incredibly powerful at the hands of the right player. Good luck, have fun from Taco, who is already in the final of Season 3 as well. So we had a little bit of a problem trying to get all the players together for the final, which does happen now and again. You know, people are very busy and whatnot, so trying to get everyone on one evening to sit down and play can be a bit tough. So we did start Season 3, we're 3 games deep into that. So we have one last qualifier left, and whoever wins that will end up meeting either A Move Hacker, Flying Taco, and Chosen One in the finals, which would be really good. That's already a really good set of players. And we're really lucky. We're really lucky. We've had so many good players joining these tournaments, and they really make it worthwhile and fun. Okay, they've got new solutions being tried out now. Yeah, that makes sense. We can always give them a go at some point as well. Should be good fun. So, Central Chaos Waste, a nice flat open map. I try and get a nice mixture of some ones with more trees and so forth, but it does have this huge hill on the left hand side which can often become the centerpiece of a battle, and this is incredibly similar to the build I took, but with a lot more cannons. So let's go through Flying Taco's build. In the back here we do have 3 carronades, can be doing that long range damage, also relatively cheap, so sometimes they can trade effectively up against the Skaven, especially if they've only brought like 1 Warp Lightning cannon. These guys will be able to win that engagement. For the main battle line we do have a ton of zombie pirate deckhand mobs in the front line, cheap and cheerful chaff just to bog down the enemy, trying to get in the back lines a little bit as well. We have, oh my god, 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Mongols, and this is what I was talking about. These guys destroy Skaven so well. They do massive damage to their infantry. Where are they going? Where are you? Oh, here you are. So they are anti-infantry, armor piercing. They stalk as well, so they can't be shot from long range, and I believe they have the hunger. So they in fact regenerate in combat, which of course they're going to be winning all their combats because they are up against cheap and cheerful Skaven troops. We have a couple of units of Sirens, another pick I really like in this matchup. Do decent work. I would have taken the hero Mongols instead, but these guys can do very well unless there is some catapults, because the catapults for the Skaven do magic damage and these guys can get destroyed very quickly. So a little bit of a risky pick, but I like it. We have Count Noculus on foot as well, bringing all his happy spells. So we do indeed have the Captain Roth's Moondial, Wraithstorm as well, Invocation of the Heck, and Drowned Den. So pretty good sept overall. We have some Scurvy Dogs as well, one of the most powerful units in the game in my opinion. They're such good value, fast and unbreakable. Looks like they are getting underway, so we'll quickly go for the Skaven build. A front line of Clan Rats with shields all the way along. Cancel Guard, Regiment Renowned Stormvermin, incredibly good and unbreakable. We have Eshin Triads, Death Runners, more Death Runners, and more Eshin Triads in the back line, so a nice sneaky back line indeed. A couple of units of Gutter Runners. We have some Doom Flayers, and then a Leadership Corps. Coming in with Deathmaster Snickage, what a hero! Bringing in the Clan Eshin build here, coming with Deathmaster Snickage and an Assassin, plus an Eshin Sorcerer, who in my opinion is the most powerful Skaven Sorcerer, at least up there, because Brittle Bones is disgustingly powerful. But both forces are going to be advanced in a bit. Now, this is some good play, again, by Flying Taco. So when you have the range superiority, you don't necessarily want to box up around this type of unit, because then your opponent has such a short distance, once he's broken your front line, to hop onto this back line. Instead, he's protecting them with the Sirens here, and pushing forward his forces, having the fight as far away from home as possible, allowing these guys to get the maximum distance on their shots, which is what you want, realistically. Some cannons are going to be trying to hit those Doom Flayers, but they're pretty small hitboxes overall, and of course Undead aren't the most accurate of guys, but any shots will do some decent damage. Looks like the Mongols are trying to fall back as well to protect the flank against these guys. The front line is getting underway, and the Mongols charge into the front line, and will start the butcher's work upon these Clan Rats. Hero Corps coming in, though, should do some decent job of bringing these guys down, but I think the Mongols are going to be a massive problem for this build in general. Eshin Triads and the Council Guard are really going to have to carry this game quite heavily. We do have a summoned zombie pirate gunnery mob in the back here. Can we do some decent damage, perhaps into the Eshin Sorcerer himself? Canoculus as well, just chilling in the back here and doing his little best to hold the lines together and to enjoy the sunset. Mongols have already broken through this initial clan rat, going to be pushing forward, but the Eshin Triads are also stalked as well, so they could pop up and do some decent damage. Doomflayer is going to be heading into the back here to take down this cannonade, but it's taking some huge volleys to the face. It needs to keep moving. One of their troops have gone down, and it has actually broken, which is disaster here. He could have popped on and taken down this cannonade very effectively here. Frontline, as going predicted, is going well for the coast wherever the Mongols are. Wherever they're not, they're slowly getting dragged down. And it looks like these ones here as well, slowly being pulled down by their leadership corps here of Deathmaster Snickich, who has popped a concealment bond, and the assassin here. Eshin Sorcerer trying to get out of there as best he can. We have Council Guard as well in support, so this unit is probably pretty doomed. Scurvy Dog's going to be getting a nice flank attack onto the clan rats here, and Eshin Triad, trying to drag them down as much as possible. We do have a nice invocation of the heck as well on the Mongols on this hand flank, to allow them to tear through these death runners relatively effectively. Nice Wraith Storm coming into this big blob with nice damage overall to the Triads. Flying Tackle obviously realising that these guys are the main threats to his eye. Balance power already starting to turn only a little bit in favour of the coast. Scurvy Dogs, looks like we did in fact have 2 units of those sneaky fellows. Have stopped to chase down routing troops, which is a good use of their time. Also maybe hunting down gutter runners as well could be relatively effective. Eshin Sorcerer managed to rally around the Council Guard and protect those guys, where this leadership corps is now bouncing from battle to battle, hunting down the coast and doing some serious work. And to be honest, the cannons don't really have too many great targets here. Looks like all 3 of them are online, and the Sirens are starting to move forward, which I think is the right play here. There's nothing that's too fast that can get into the backline and shut them down effectively. Siren's going to push up and help pin in some more of these elite troops. And the cannons now, I would focus down the Council Guard and the Eshin Triads, and once you've done that, I think it's going to be game over. The Mongols are just too powerful for the rest of these troops. Deathmaster Snickich is taking a couple of cannonballs to the face here, and if they actually hit with him, he's a pretty small target, but they will do huge damage to him with each hit that comes in. Here's some really cool attack animations if we zoom in right now. He's just standing there bouncing around on his feet for now, giving us the mean mugging look right there. Here's lots of flips and spins and so forth, but the Council Guard taking a huge raking shot down the flank there, which is the best way to shoot your opponent, and they're doing some really decent damage overall. We have a ton of Skaven who have rallied in the back line. These Death Runners need to move up and help assist. And some Scurvy Dogs are being deleted here by some Gutter Runners, which is pretty decent play overall, trying to claw his way back into the game. Balance power not out of sight just yet. So they're just saying ready and so forth. That always pops up late for me for some reason. If he can rally his heroes around the Council Guard and some Eshin Triads, this game still could be won, but there is a big problem. That is the 3 carronades sitting in the back lines. Very healthy, but Dutch Skink, this is so key. He needs to notice that these Death Runners have rallied. He can pop up on the cannon, delete it, and just move his way along. There is nothing back here to stop him. Looks like the Sirens still going forward as well. So if these guys are literally remembered, they can get so much work done. But obviously, much easier to spy them from up here in my my high cloud of casting. Much harder when you're down here trying to micro 20 different things in one go. Sirens have caught some gut runners, going to be deleting those guys relatively quickly. Sirens don't do the most damage output, but at the same time, they barely take any damage in combat. Canoculus going to be fleeing from Deathmaster Snickich. No point getting engaged there. Just keep back, use up your magic before bothering to engage. It looks like the Death Runners have noticed they have popped on top of this cannonade, and you can see how quickly these break these guys. These guys are designed to kill infantry, and the cannonade crew are designed to die, basically, in combat and fire cannons where they can. So they're deleting this 1 unit. Looks like some Mongols were contemplating coming to the back lines, but again, these 2 are pretty open. But Flying Tacker has noticed this by the looks of it, bringing these Mongols over to protect the last 2. So nice play there overall. Did lose the cannon, but, gonna not make it too much of a disaster. So nice play there by both players. Looks like some clan rats have shattered here. Sirens, though, taking an absolute pounding from something. Must have been a magical attack coming by the Eshin Sorcerers. And popping on top of these Death Runners, terrifying them away as well. I think this could be game. There's still actually a bit of a blob over here. Mongols going to be fleeing out from it, as they do not want to be engaged on top of all these Eshin Triads and Council Guard. Cannon's going to be focusing these guys down as well. Looks like a Brittle Bones is coming down on these guys. Really nice play. Slowing their speed by 24% and melee defense by 40. These guys are pretty doomed, I think. They're trying to claw their way away quite miserably here. It looks like they still might just have enough pace here on them. Speed 34 up against the 38 pace, so they're not going to be able to escape. They're going to turn to engage and might as well suicide charge if you're going to get the value out of them. But no, once again on the back foot here, fleeing. Count Oculus as well, going to be moving back. Cannon's just doing some decent damage, but it looks like another cannon almost got shut down here, but the Mongols just about in time managed to shut down these loyal Death Runners. And there are Skaven troops all over the place. Some Clan Rats going to be hunting down this second cannonade over here. Flying Tackle needs to notice that and pull these guys over to support. And they're losing a ton of troops now. Zombie Pirate Deck Hand Mobs are pretty much gone. The Syreens are getting beaten up as well. It's still quite a tough fight, regardless of what the balance of power says here. If he can shut these guys down with this unit of Clan Rats right here. The other one has managed to rally though, which is going to cause big problems for the Skaven here. These guys, I would hop them off their little crew and start running for the hills, wait for the Mongols to come back. So it looks like Death Runner's doing some pretty decent job here, just consistent fire into the Syreens. They guys are doing a critical binding now and slowly starting to fall. But it looks like a little bit of rally as well. So it looked like a lot of these forces could start to crumble, but a nice invocation ahead. Going to keep these guys fighting and, yeah, tip the balance power over there. Really nice play from both players. A super good set of games. But Flying Taco is going to be qualifying for the finals here, going through in a hotly contested 2-1 series. Kansgard going for a last little suicide charge. Fortunately, these guys with charging, doing their little best here. Going for that last samurai charge on the carronade here, but it looks like some Mongols are rallying up to meet them. Dungeon Skink does come in with the concede there. The leadership core is actually really decent with the hero Mongols. I forget the name off the top of my head, but they're so good. Which is all good. So overall, I actually quite like both builds. Unfortunately, Dutch Skink just didn't have enough to deal with those carronades. Maybe deploying some of the more sneaky units in the back line and popping on top of those guys would have done some decent work. However, at the same time, there was a lot of Mongols around, and these guys did serious work here. 78, 53, 28, and 63 kills apiece is certainly not bad up against a relatively elite-ish Skaven build, I suppose. GG. Great set of games. Ooh. See you in the final, Taco. So we'll update the scoreboard quickly. Flying Taco did in fact take that 2-1. And we'll wait to see who pops in first before we alter the names. Thanks for letting me play. No worries, man. Anytime. So, Noob for Life and Chosen One, if you would like to hop into the lobby, oh, Chosen One, already here. The password is 123 Noob for Life, if you need to know. Cool, so Chosen One has popped in, of course representing ODM, as always. So, let's change this around. Chosen One. Bring him down, back down to 2. Oh, 0, sorry. 2 might be a little bit of a cheating. And Noob for Life coming in, and I believe representing the Extreme Meme Team. So we have a little bit of a clan war popping off. Looks like I've got a couple of messages in Discord. They're not related to this though, so it's fine. And the map we're going to be playing on is Glacial Lake. Boom. A close quarters map, very small. A bit like Troll Country, nice to get the set of games underway with a real blood and thunder affair. That's what we like to see. These are weird times. They are indeed. Oh. A little sip of water. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask now. I'm sure Flying Taco and whatnot will be in the chat as well, so if you have any questions about the battles, feel free to ask them. 14 Council God, what is this blasphemy? We need the 13. Yes, Haunters, thank you, Stormrunner. Haunters are very good indeed. I would like Chosen One just switch position. No. Go Spectator. Nice, got Stormrunner in here as well. Just having a little look. And I did see Noob for Life loading up. I'll drop him a cheeky invite anyway. Where is the man, the myth, the legend? There he is. Oh, he's already in. Hey, bro. We got to get these guys underway. The betrayal. One man, one guard. Yes, there. So this is the second semi-final. Which of these brave contenders will meet Flying Taco in the final? So I can't remember who it was to pick and ban first. I did decide this before. So let's hop back and have a little look. Into my Discord. We do have chosen one to pick first. Cool. Chosen. Pick and ban 2. Should be some good fun. Need to see some Scream catapults. They did work. They really helped out, man. I mean, they didn't get the most amount of kills, but the HP damage they inflicted on top of the Temple Guard early days was really nice, and then allows, you know, the Temple Guard to slowly get dragged down. Also fairly decent damage on the Saurus Warriors as a whole, and at least it pulled the Lizardmen in, made you kind of them rush in and maybe not set up the kind of best engagements they could. But still, very well played. Ryan Smith, of course, is Flying Taco, for those who do not know. So, chosen one is going Lizardmen and banning Dowie and Wood Elves. Will we see some Lizardmen victories? I am praying so. Bit of mind games as well, going up with Noob for Life's favourite faction. It should be good. Cool, cool. I don't know if Noob for Life is going North. He hasn't said anything yet, but he might be deciding to figure out what he's going to be doing. So Glacial Lake, pretty open map, so it's good for some gun lines here. So I may even go something like Empire here, or Coast. He's going Norska, okay. So Norska, pretty good monster hunters in general, but I have a really nice Lizardman build I love to take up against Norska. So you have a front line of Saurus Warriors. You have the Umbral Tide and a Bastiladon with Solar Engine. Forces your opponent in. Great fire damage as well to take down the Skin Wolves and Frog and so forth. They melt Frog so quickly, it's beautiful. And then you protect your backline with a couple of units of Cold One Spear Riders. I have Krokgar as well on top of a Carnosaur. Hand of the Gods obliterates Frog and does great damage to Wulfric in general. And he's a pretty tanky, decent duelist in his own right. And of course, Grimlock destroys infantry. Then you bring a Skink Priest of Beasts as well. Just chuck that Manticore in there. Always good for sniping out characters and casters and so forth. And it is a really decent build, which I've never really struggled with too much. Lizardman, Mirror, por favor, that would be fantastic. Aristodemus, how's it going, my bro? Hope you're doing all good, not too swamped as well by work and whatnot. General Kenobi. Hello there. Frostworms incoming. I can definitely see Frostworms doing some decent damage, but once again, Umbral Tide and so forth deal with them really comfortably. Looks like they are both ready, so let's get this underway. Who is your money on? Noob for Life. Is he going to live up to his name, or is he going to defy the noob title? Or is Chosen One going to be the chosen one to go out, or the chosen one to take on the mighty flying Mexican food? Should be interesting. So it looks like we're loading in extremely quickly here. Nice to see. No lag issues as well, which is beautiful. Let's go through Noob for Life's army first and the Norscan. So for the front line, we do have a absolute into the sunset list of Marauders. So it looks like 3 basic Marauders, decent for chewing through Skinks and so forth. Do struggle up against Saurus, and then a ton of Marauder Spearmen as well. We have a couple of Marauder Berserkers. Looks like one of them is chevroned up as well. These guys are the definition of kind of Vikings from mythology. Of course in real life as well, but real life Vikings weren't actually quite as menacing as some people think, I believe. But still, regardless, these guys, huge damage dealers, doing some really nice work. 3 Marauder Hunters with Javelins, fantastic for taking down big dinosaurs, and consistent fire, even on top of things like Temple Guard, can get some pretty good value. We have a bit of a monster core on this flank over here with some Skin Wolves, who of course do have regeneration, so they've got pretty decent sustainability throughout the whole game. We also have the Mist Stalkers, Regiment Familiar Warriors, and this is a pick I quite like, as they of course do come in with Stalk as well, so they can't just be shot off the bat. But overall, pretty decent build. We also have, for his leadership core over here, the mighty Wulfric the Wanderer on top of his Mammoth, which is what you expect to see. Oh no! What's going on? Someone's lagging. Oh, looks like we're back. Hopefully that was just a little blip. No, what is happening? The first couple of games were fine, so hopefully that will subside in just a second here. Wolfric the Wanderer coming with, of course, Hunter of the Champions and all his standard stuff. And we have a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal, not one that you see too often, but he's going to be coming in with those fat final transmutations and Plague of Rust as well. Now, coming in for the Lizardmen and Chosen One, representing my favourite Dino boys. Hopefully they can finally get a victory. In the front line, we have some Skink cohorts with Javelins. Really nice pick coming in up against Norskans, who are very lightly armoured in general, because Javelins can do some decent work. Also, one lone unit of basic Skink cohort. Just, you know, they're here just to kind of say they've been here and get a participation medal. We have 3 units of Temple Guard as well. Very adept at handling big monsters, and they can pretty much beat any of the Norscan infantry in combat as well. We have some Cold One Spear Riders protecting the back line, and a unit of Salamander Hunting Pack. Unfortunately, no Umbral Tide, but still, these guys do that decent long-range damage. We do have a Gary with a Solar Engine, and some Skinks riding dirty on either flank there. These guys look like they're having an absolute blast. Don't know what they're holding on to. So that long-range firepower going to force the Norskans to rush in. We have a Naked Skink Chief. These guys are actually really useful for getting into the back line and constantly sitting on targets with poison. We have a Slar Mage Priest of Light. Quite nice to see this guy in action. I'm assuming that we're going to get some Time Warp action. So we have a Banishment, Shield of the Old Ones. He's got the Aura of Quetzal, Blood Statue of Spikes. So coming in thick here with all his items. Bronus Time Warp as well as Far's Protection. Nice standard competitive pick indeed. And up in the sky, over top of this big crevasse here, we do in fact have the Pohawk Sentinels, Regiment Round Pterodon Riders, and a basic unit as well. No, that's such a cool sound as the blasters go past and hit some Marauders there. I'm assuming he's going to be switching targets onto these Skinwolves or onto Wolfric the Wanderer himself. And of course, Norskans don't have any healing, so all that long-range damage does seriously add up. And this is a really nice Lizardman build, in my opinion. Going to do some decent work, but we'll see how it stands up. Skinks will eventually get run over by Marauders and so forth. Javelins forcing the Pohawk Sentinels out wide a little bit, doing some decent long-range damage. But these guys, they're going to be tenacious, keep coming back. And of course, Noob Life doesn't want to leave these guys behind. He needs them in the front line to help deal with Temple Guard and so forth. Looks like Temple Guard are actually in fact going to be moving in front of the Skink cohorts, allowing them to get all their Javelins in. Doing some okay damage into Marauders. These guys are shielded there. They don't mind, they will take it. Javelins better used on Skinwolves and so forth. Looks like a shot whizzes by their Wolfric's head. You wouldn't think he's too hard to target to hit, but I suppose it is a feral dinosaur realistically trying to shoot a laser beam. It's going to be a little bit tough. In comes Wolfric, going to be jumping on top of some Skinks, and the blood that comes up as the beat drops, and Wolfric already up to 15 kills, but he is instantly surrounded by Temple Guard and Cold One Spear Rise running in as well. He needs to be very careful here, Wolfric. Hunting Pack as well, doing a huge damage. Look at that burst damage coming in. He needs to fall back, get to the safety of his Marauders and these Javelins and so forth. And a bonus on Far's Protection going up as well. But Wolfric the Wanderer going straight deep after that Slan booty right here. Plague of Rust drops in that guy. Hunter Champions no doubt going to be coming in as well. And he may be able to get the snipe here, but at what cost? Oh my god, look at that damage! Look at it, that is insane! We've got Javelin Fire coming in as well against him. Umbral Tide, or not Umbral Tide, sorry, Salamander's trying to make Wolfric the Wanderer pay here, but the Slan is going down. That was some incredible play, popping all his buffs as quickly as he can to try and get that value. But he is down to just 500 health. Wolfric, though, going to be fleeing for his life as he is charged down by so many of these Lizardman troops rallying to the Slan, who is routing. Down to 300, 200 health, 100 health. Is he going to be pinned down by Javelins? Oh, 42 health. There's a very small chance he'll rally, but down he goes. What a snipe by Noob 5. I thought he was insane pushing Wolfric in there and taking so much damage, and he may in fact lose Wolfric for his efforts there, but some really nice damage. Apart from that, the rest of the battle, we have the Feral Manticore, oh no, Pohawk Sentinel, sorry, pops up in the back line here, being pinned down by Marauder Spearmen, so that's not going too well. Apart from that, Lizardmen are doing pretty decent in the front line wherever the Temple Guard are fighting. And I think the Lizardmen still have a pretty decent advantage here. Salamander's doing some great damage on Wolfric the Wanderer, putting him down to 2,400 health. But if he can just get away from this battle, use the Javelins to keep kind of large foes away from you, and try and allow your frontline troops to push through all these Temple Guard and so forth. And he really doesn't want to lose Wolfric right now, but still coming into the front line. And these Salamanders are doing such good work on him. some javelins. Oh no, looks like we'll skin also coming into the back on top of these guys, which is a really nice pick. But once again, Cold One Spear Riders being used defensively. I really like people who use a cav defensively. I think it works really well. You often see people just chuck them down the flanks and pray for the best, but using them to counter your opponent's positioning and movement can work really well as well. So these guys have been pinned in. Salamanders should now turn and just obliterate them as quickly as possible. Maybe with some help from Gary down here. Wolfric doing some decent work, trying to stomp some Temple Guard over on this left-hand flank. These guys up to 25 kills. Looks like a little bit of lag coming in, unfortunately, here. Another little burst of it. Luckily, for the most part, the battle has been fine. So hopefully that will subside in just a second here. Skinks rallying back to the main fray, and Pterodon Riders now just need to be used to chase off routing units and hop on top of javelins wherever they can. In the back line, the Pale Sentinels still somehow fighting Marauders Spearmen fairly happily. Looks like they are going to be running away now. They still have their rock drop as well, can be really useful late game. And Wolfric needs to stay away from these Salamanders, but he's still taking shot after shot, down to just 260 health. Not quite sure how he hasn't broken yet. He's trying to get on top of those guys, but I've got a feeling a Gary shot is going to be coming in. But yeah, Wolfric falls. He did his job though, managed to assassinate that Slon, but he's very expensive on top of his Mammoth here. I don't know if it was worth it overall, but he's winning the rest of the battle. It forced Chosen One to put so many resources in trying to protect that Slan that the front line kind of got forgotten about and is slowly being dragged down. We have a nice core of Temple Guard here, but they're pretty beat up. Trying their best up against the Marauder Berserk is not really a perfect target, and there's some very healthy Mist Stalkers here. Now, the Salamanders are obviously a great answer to those guys, but are they going to be allowed to shoot with so many Marauders? Kind of, the numbers are definitely in Norscan's side, being able to chase these guys down where possible. But really nice play, chucking in the Skink Chief to bottle these guys up and hold them down. Noob for Life needs to get these guys and click past them and hunt down the Salamander hunting pack. There's no point fighting the Skink Chief, it's going to take forever, and he's not really too much of a threat. We have more Skinks rallying in as well, going to sandwich in these Marauders. And the Salamanders doing huge damage to the Mist Stalkers here, doing some really, really nice damage there, as the Pterodon does hold the line. Cold One Spear Riders running into the front line here. Looks like they're going for an assassination attempt on the Shaman there, but they're going to be pulling back. And you see the sad, lonely chair down here. It's just a reminder of the Slan who wished he could. We do have Skinwolves regening up on this flank coming back, but one or two shots from the Salamanders they will go down, but they might be able to sneak in. It's probably worth chucking them in and seeing if Chosen One does in fact notice. Nice shots coming on the Mist Stalkers as well, but they have managed to force off Gary here, and I think the Lizardmen, the curse of the Lizardmen once again reigns. 3 games so far they have lost this stream. Can anyone save my favourite dinos? And Chosen One does in fact go down there. Mist Stalkers might carry, looks like they will. They did indeed. Chosen One going to win. Unfortunately, he did not there. Blasphemy. No, I was quite upset myself. But what a snipe with Wolfric the Wanderer. I thought he was insane going back there. I was like, well, you've just thrown away Wolfric. Big damage coming from Salamanders. You had Gary shooting him and Cold One Spear Riders, but he managed to weave his way through a really nice Plague of Rust. Plus the 100 champions, and he nuked that fat toad boy in seconds. 1 or 2 hits and he was down. Really nice javelin play overall as well. Mist Stalkers 62 kills, did a decent job at the end. I actually really like Chosen One's build. I think if the Slar Mage Priest didn't get sniped early on, we had that magic consistently throughout the battle, it would have been a very different story, but well played to both players there. Wolfric indeed going for the yeet there. So we are going to be changing maps now onto my favourite multiplayer map. We do have River Maxon, because it is a competitive, relatively well balanced map, which is Lizardman themed, which is super rare indeed. Wait a minute, that's my Norscan build. No way! No way! Did Noob for Life steal your build? That is hilarious. That is really funny. I'm not going to lie, I stole one of your builds the other day as well, actually. I was online against Empire of Lizardmen. I wanted to try out your, like, Rohan Lizardman build, Flying Taco, with all the feral Cold Ones and Cold One Spear Riders and stuff that I think you used on a stream somewhere. I can't remember where, but I saw it and I was like, this is awesome. I tried something similar. I didn't go word for word what it was, but the general idea was the same. Looks like Noob for Life might be going Lizardmen. Does he not know of the curse? Let us update the scoreboard as well. So Noob for Life, going 1-0. Oh, got a load of messages on Discord. Looks like they're all from random stuff, so we're fine. Picking Lizardmen! Very bold there, banning Tomb Kings and Vampirates. Looking pretty decent. We can rematch, he's challenging him. Once you use it, it isn't yours anymore. That is true. That is true. Flying Taco is indeed one of those people I feel look at a lot of his builds and you go, you know what? I wouldn't mind using that myself. And you know, it's not thieving. It's what do people say who like steal people's ideas and stuff? It's like homage, you know. Right. First game we played was Lizardmen versus Dark Elves. Oh, what, they ever played, perhaps? There's a little Civil War. Looks like Chosen One is contemplating who he's going to be bringing. Make sure none of them have questioned me on Discord. No, we're all good. Cool, cool. So for those people who have joined in, I see that we've kind of amassed more people as we've gone on. This is the final of Season 2 of Death Before Dishonour. What happens is we have 4 heats, and the winner of each heat comes together a big final. It is a best of 3 semi-finals, best of 5 final. And Flying Taco did win a hotly contested first semi-final, 2-1 up against Dutch Skink, in a very impressive set of games. And now we have Noob for Life, 1 up against Chosen One in the second semi-final. If you want to get involved in these type of tournaments in the future, King of the Hills, and just generally want to chat to a load of cool people, do feel free to hop into my Discord. Link is just in the description down below. Skaven no fun. So we have Skaven, I think, relatively even matchup here. Lots of long-range decent tools. However, you'll often see a lot of people go Hell Pit Abominations. And again, I've said it once already this stream, I love Salamanders. I think they're a really good pick here, especially Umbral Tide, who of course have that stalk to get past, you know, nasty Giselles and so forth. And they decimate Hell Pit Abominations super quickly. So Lizards 03, they are indeed. They are indeed. I think people copying your builds is about as big a compliment as you can get in this game. That is true. That is true. He randomly chose the same build. Yeah. No, that's funny. He's Extreme Meme Team Salesman Blessing. Oh god, yeah, we could have an Extreme Meme Team Civil War as a final. That'd be a disaster. Brother slaughtering brother. Looks like Chosen One already has a build locked in and ready, and Noob for Life is good to go. Nice, being quite quick so far these semi-finals, even though they've gone 3 games in the first one. But we're making some good time. I have seen Skaven win this countless times. Skaven are pretty good. I think when the DLCs came in, though, for the Lizardmen, I think it evened up a little bit more. But, once again, who knows? What's with all these lizards today? Someone needs to win with them. Maybe they're trying to get some of my blessing, knowing that I love lizards so much. What's not to love? I used to play Lizardmen on tabletop when I was a kid, so I was the only guy who ever brought a Carnosaur to a tournament. Everyone else brought a Slan. I was solo bringing my Carnosaur. It looks like Noob for Life trying that tactic out as well. So for the front line, for the who's currently 1-up, so if he wins this game, will be in the finals. Noob for Life has got Skink cohorts mixed in with some red-crested Skinks by the looks of it, all the way along the front line. I'm assuming we also have the cohort of Sotek. Regiment around Skinks who can refuse to die if they pop their ability. They will still lose HP, however, but I really like these guys, bringing them in almost 90% of my Lizardman builds. We do, in fact, have the Umbral Tide. Noob for Life has heard the call to arms. One of my favourite units. These little fire doggos do decent damage against, well, very good damage against large foes, fire damage in general, and of course have Stalk. We have an aerial force with the Pohawk Sentinels mixing with a couple units of Terror Riders. No Fire Leech Bowlers, but still, these guys come with a nasty rock drop as well. And that looks like it is for the majority of his build. Let's see his leadership core. We do have a Skink Priest of Heavens coming in with that Wind Blast, plus a Skink Priest of Beasts coming with that Manticore Summon. This is again quite a nice pick. Coming with the 2 Lords as well, it makes them hard to snipe out as well. Looks like we have a Feral Bastildon on this right-hand flank, and a Feral Carnosaur on the left-hand one, with a Saurus Old Blood. Surely he has his items there, such good value. Doing a bit of a pose there, as he does. It looks like he's kind of peeing up against the tree a little bit. Saurus Old Blood come in with the Horn of Kygor and Amulet of Itzel. Decent damage resistance and charge bonus. So for the Skaven, what type of build do we have? It looks like we have a few ranged utensils, as well, majority combat as well. So we have a mixture of clan rats with spears and Skaven slaves in the front line, doing a bit of an onion approach here, which is quite nice. Going to force the Lizardmen to fight through multiple layers of Skaven here. Now in this centre pocket we have some rat ogres, really good for protecting weapon teams and so forth. They're relatively fast and can deal with cavalry relatively effectively themselves. They will lose to Cold One Spirit Riders and so forth, but it bogs down your foes. So he's got a couple of units of those guys mixed in with the Teeth Breakers, ranging around Rattling Gunners, who if these Pterodons aren't careful will decimate in seconds. Really nice pick overall by by these guys. We also have some poisoned wind mortars in the centre pocket. So not overloading with too much range, which I quite like. Not too much to protect, but at the same time forcing your opponent to come in and try and break down your formation. We do have some Doomflays in the front line, going to be rolling Sons of Anarchy style in through the Lizard Boys. Some Skaven Save Slingers as well in the back, looks like on both flanks. We have Blight Scabs, Plague Pack as well, Regiment Renowned, Plague Monk, Censer Bearers will decimate all the skinks very quickly, but of course have very low armour themselves with just 10, so they take damage up against pretty much all foes. And for Leadership Corps, we do in fact have an Assassin here, who is going to be working as a bodyguard for Lord Skrulk. Lord Skrulk, of course, been one of the most competitive Skaven Lords for the longest time, ever since they've come out, and I quite like the fact he's brought an Assassin for protection. He is rather squishy himself. He's, of course, brought the Liber and also Rod of Corruption. They're just so good. We also have Pestilent Breath, Vermintide, Blessing of Filth, and looks like it's it. He of course, brought all his hexes and so forth with him as well. Overall, pretty decent build. So I can see it working relatively well. Umbral Tide has one or two decent targets. Maybe pop them on top of the Blight Scab Plague Pack, but I like he brought at least one to deal with any Hell Pit Abominations, but we don't have any of those guys, unfortunately. Without further ado, though, let's get this battle underway. Looks like both forces are going to be advancing up. Pterodon's probably going to do a little bit of scouting as well. There's a few units they can drop their rocks on, do some decent damage. We do have some Ishik's Triads mixed in here as well, which I missed a little bit earlier, so those guys help and protect some of this ranged core. Assuming it's going to be moving up until the poisoned wind mortars are in line, and I'd start shooting right across the skinks, to be honest. I think that's his best bet, realistically. Well, something stuck in my throat there. Looks like we're all good now. And coming down and already doing some pretty okay damage there. It does do a little bit of damage over time as well after those shots do make contact, so it can be a little bit deceiving how much kind of work they're already doing. But we also have the Doomflayers going to be rolling dirty through the skink build. They will do some very decent damage. Looks like the mortars have switched targets, doing some decent damage to the second one. And in go the Doomflayers, and they just run over these skink cohorts so effectively there. Don't see these guys half as much as you used to, as they did get nerfed fairly heavily quite a while ago now. But they're still pretty decent. The Feral Bastiladon hunting them down is not realistically where they want to be. Rattling Gunners also getting some very decent fire into this Feral Bastiladon. Fairly long range, not doing as much damage as they could, but still not too bad overall. Looks like Skaven Slaves have been forced off here, pushed through by Skink cohorts, but there are some Clan Rats to close the gap. Pterodons popping down on the Teeth Breakers, doing some really decent early damage, and those bombing runs as well are helping. Rat Ogres need to get engaged and shut these guys down, as the Teeth Breakers are a very valuable unit to lose early on. It looks like they're basically being completely wiped here. A bit of a disaster there by Chosen One in the back line. But apart from that, he's doing decent damage along the front line. Umbral Tide haven't been able to find any targets yet. We do have the Blight Scab as well moving forward, and they're going to decimate Skink cohorts so quickly and effectively. Over on the right-hand flank, we have Rat Ogres also pinning in some Red Cross Skinks, trying their best here. Ishik Triads need to pop on top of the Saurus Old Blood and pin him in. So we do have a Manticore summon coming down by the Lizardmen. Skaven Slaves fighting Skink cohorts in just a bit of a wet noodle contest. Umbral Tide are now launching shot after shot into Lord Skrulk here, who has popped stand your ground, and doing a decent job of holding the line himself. And unfortunately, the Teeth Breakers have been forced off. Now, if I'm noob for life in this situation, I'm taking some Pterodons on hunting these guys down. Yes, there's only 10 models, but that's still a ton of damage output. But instead, they have gone after the Poison Wind Mortars, doing fantastic work here, as the Skaven Slave Slingers really struggle to protect them there. Rat Ogres going toe-for-toe with the fellow Carnosaur, and yes, they have the bonus versus large, but a Carnosaur is not the foe they realistically want to be fighting. He will eat them for breakfast all day. And so far, nice pressure across the whole battlefield by the Lizardmen, but they are starting to run out of steam a little bit. A lot of their skink foes, or forces, sorry, have been pushed back. But again, decent damage overall, and it looks like the Teeth Breakers are now being forced off by the Pohawk Sentinels, which is decent play. Ferroman's Call, someone keeping the balance power fairly even, going to be popping in. I would use them to hunt down Lord Skrulk. Skrulk is very squishy, and one Ferroman's Call can take him down if he is not paying attention and being careful. Looks like we do have Rival High Talisman going down here, plus a Lever. Going to be allowing the Assassin to do huge work to the Saurus Old Blood. He has popped the Horn of Kygor. Not sure if he's used his amulets yet. Looks like, no, still not popping it just yet. And he's really struggling in this matchup. Ishik Triads, if he can assassinate the Lizardman leadership here, that's going to be a great way back in the game for the Skaven. Although I say way back in, I think they are slightly in an advantageous position. Oh no, oh, it looks like they completely shattered Teeth Breakers. I thought they were rallying there. But overall, the Pterodon Riders have done a decent job. Looks like they're going to be hunting down Poisoned Wind Mortars as well. However, they've taken a lot of damage for Slingers, who are quite cheap themselves. So not the worst trade, but overall definitely a successful trade for Noob for Life and the Lizardmen there. But the Skink forces just ran out of steam in this front line. You can see the Skaven have now managed to reform the line. Starting to push through, although the Umbral Tide doing some fantastic damage on these Raptors who are trying to pin in this Feral Carnosaur, but these guys don't take huge damage coming in. Nice summon though in the back line here by Chosen One, getting some Clan Rats to hop on top of the Umbral Tide and force them back. Looks like one of the Skink Priests, at least one of Beast, is running for the hills, and the second one has just rallied. The Assassin needs to keep on them, not take his foot off the gas and hunt those guys down. Skaven did manage to win this flank over here, even though the Old Blood is relatively healthy himself. Ishtrides though going to be constantly chasing him all game here. Unfortunately for Noob for Life, the Feral Carnosaur has Rampage now, so it's going to be fighting all these spears mixing with Rat Ogres. Not where he wants to be. He can do some decent damage overall, but the Umbral Tide have been forced back as well, so he has no support here. Terron's desperately trying to get over there to help him out, but nice play. Skaven Slaves getting fantastic value here, taking down the Pohawk Sentinels. In the back line though, Poison Wind Mortars have been forced off. Nice diligent play by these Pterodon Riders, constantly chasing those guys off and refusing to let them come back. Old Blood has gone for the snipe on Lord Skrulk. He sees this as his way back into the game, and it's not a bad shout at all. He can outpace his Ishik Triads, and he's doing it here. He's sniping Lord Skrulk. We do have an Assassin Trophy popped on him, though, knowing all his stats, and he may get pinned in now, but no, he goes for the cinematic jump there while they will go through slow-mo, and he has terrified Lord Skrulk. Umbral Tide as well, Kobe and some shots on as well, and Source Old Blood, a bit of a hit-and-run tactic here. Can be popping back in, trying to finish him off. Ishik Trizo will be doing decent damage this entire time, and an Assassin has popped in. Looks like that Beast Skink Priest did manage to rally and has summoned a Ferromanticore, which is a bit of a disaster for the Skaven. They managed to force him off. I think they've been in a very healthy position here. But no, Lord Stroke does in fact rally, pops down the Liber on the Saurus Old Blood, and surrounded by Ishik Triads. This is such an important engagement here. We do have the Ferromanticore deciding to switch targets and coming for Lord Skrulk. Not a bad shout at all, but he's been flung around and not actually taking any damage here. Assassin as well, using his sneaky stabbing to do some decent damage to the Old Blood, force him out as well. Lord Skrulk though, going to be taking a ton of... Oh no, it looks like the shots mainly went over his head. Looks like they're in fact trying to tie down the Ishik Triads, but a nice summon once again going to force back the Umbral Tide here. Skrulk down to just 700 health. So if this Old Blood can wrap around and get back on top of him, he may be able to get his way back into this game. But as soon as that Manticore summon does go down, balance power is going to be in the Skaven's favour. Now the back line, I mean, can we just appreciate very quickly the skill of both players here? The micromanagement must be insane at trying to kind of manage it all across the battlefield. There is mini skirmishes going on. Old Blood now forces his way into the back line, trying to shut down Skaven Slingers and tear out Rat Ogres as quickly as possible. They're doing some decent damage to him as well, still 700 health. And a lot of the Skaven troops are running for the hills. Now, if he had some quick units left, maybe the Pohawk Sentinels and Pterodon Riders, he can chase off units and stop them coming back. But it looks like the Source of Old Blood is wavering, but he just about manages to rout the Rat Ogres instead. These Slingers need to come over here and start doing some decent damage to him. Down to just 600 health. If we go look to see how Skrulk is doing, he does have some Plague Monks who are summoned and do some decent damage to the Umbral Tide. Where is Skrulk Boy? He is now well and truly protected by that Assassin. They need to hunt down this Skink Priest. The other Priest is completely useless now after he has used both his spells. Looks like he's getting swarmed here a little bit. And he needs to, finish off the Feral Basilodon, finish off the Red Crested Skinks. Basically, both players are going to try and finish off either flank, rally, and return for the field. She tried contemplating going after the Umbral Tide, but they are fleeing for the trees. I would actually summon their... what are they called? Oh, they're little special called. Summon their, like, little duplicates. These guys here, the doppelgangers, there you go. And hunt those guys down and pin them in. It looks like Source of Old Blood just about rallying here in the distance with his Feral Carnosaur doing some decent damage. These Skaven troops probably just need to fall back and meet up with their main forces and allow the Skaven Slave Slings to throw in and do some decent damage. Source of Old Blood down to 488, slowly getting chipped away by those pebbles. And yeah, overall, I think the Skaven have this. Power balance very heavily in their favour. Maybe if you can drag these forces over, assassinate, croak, and tear out the forces, but it's going to be tough. There's so many Skaven still left alive. Umbral Tide have unfortunately been caught as well. And of course, even if it finishes Skrulk, there's still an assassin to deal with. And we are going to game 3 yet again. Yet again, the Lizard Men fall. What is happening? What is happening? Like, a nice build overall, good play by both players. Umbral Tide 96 kills, doing some decent work. And overall, I like the idea of the two Skink Priests and so forth. But the Skinks, I think 1 or 2 units of Saurus in the front line would have really helped. Maybe cut the little Gary down here, add in a couple units of Saurus Warriors. I think he'd be in a much better state. Allows you to actually win that frontline engagement rather than just kind of delay it. And then your big dinosaurs kind of deal with the rest, all the nasty stuff. But a nice attempted assassination attempt on Lord Skrulk. We've seen Noob for Life does indeed love a good assassination attempt, and it works really well. But Chosen One has made it equal. GG. Send me blind picks. So blind picks are pretty fun because there's so much mind games that get involved. Do you play a faction you know you're good with, or do you play a really balanced faction which is good against everyone, you know? Because you don't know what your opponent is going to pick. And we are going to be on the map Mirror Woods. So hopefully it's not a mirror match. Mirror Woods is map. Have a quick look at chat here. Hope you guys are still doing all good. Sorry, I have to look down on my phone to see you boys, so I'll kind of talk to you guys between battles. Oh, Aristodemus, we actually have a clan civil war. I have done that on the channel before. We had an ODM clan civil war, and we're doing it with some other people as well soon. Just trying to get through the Death Before Dishonours first. Peers and War Wars are really hard to dodge, though, yeah. It actually increases their arrow accuracy, which is pretty ironic. Lizardmen are a great faction. Lies. Lies. Imagine being a centuries-old dinosaur lord and getting killed by a bunch of Skaven slaves throwing rocks at you. It's not the worst way to die in Warhammer, but it's pretty embarrassing. Oh, come on, mouse. Sort yourself out. Oh, looks like they haven't sent me anything on Discord yet. Oh, New Life has done me one. Cool! Nice. So we have... I believe. Let's just double check. So Noob for Life is going Dark Elves. And Chosen One is going Tomb Kings. Pretty interesting matchup here. Dark Elves, good against most factions in general. They're very versatile. I would argue they're top tier, definitely. Arguably could be pushed up to one of the best factions in the game. Tomb Kings, although at the hands of a good player, are equally very, very powerful indeed. That's a lot of armor-piercing, long-range missile fire the Dark Elves can bring to the table as well to take down large constructs and so forth. Scourge Runner Chariots have been nerfed, but are still very decent in this matchup. Do good damage up against constructs and can run over skeletons pretty effectively. Are maps for finals set already? Because if not, I have some suggestions. Aristodemus! I see Raptor likes what you're talking about. They are set, unfortunately. Now, if you join in for King of the Hills and some of the other live streams we do, I do allow a few meme maps to come in at the end. But unfortunately, Death Before Dishonour, it's not a super serious tournament, but we do take it relatively competitively and seriously. So the maps are already set, unfortunately. And they're relatively balanced as well. I thought of Dark Elf Mirror, but that would be boring, I guess. Well, Chosen One there, been a man of the people and making sure I don't have to cast a horrible mirror match. I did one the other day. I think it was Lizardmen on Lizardmen, and it was despicable. So it looks like Flying Taco says he thinks Tomb Kings have an advantage. Asher Damel says it's pretty even. I reckon it's relatively close, maybe slight advantage one way or the other, but it can really depend on your kind of play style and so forth, and how you are to, you know, playing these factions. But considering they picked them, you assume you're relatively good in this situation. So yes, Mirror Woods, pretty fun map. Doesn't actually have as many woods as you would expect on a map called Mirror Woods, but a decent amount. Allows for a lot of sneaky stabbings and so forth coming out of the trees. Wood Elves would indeed love this map, but at the same time there's a load of room to vanguard behind your opponent, which I really like doing on this map, and some nice open plains as well in case you do want to go range. So pretty fun map overall. Yes, should be good. Oh, did I update the scoreboard? I did. Perfect. Perfect. So one of these guys will be meeting the mighty Flying Taco in the finals. And that will determine the champion of Season 2 of Death Before Dishonour. Season 1 was won by Zach B. Sane, doing some really decent work overall. And he hasn't unfortunately featured in Season 2 or Season 3 yet. Maybe we'll try and get him in for the last qualifier of Season 3. Which should be pretty good fun. It's quite funny, Chosen One and Flying Taco are going to be in the final for Season 3 as well. So if they meet in the finals here, they might do the same thing the next season as well. I'm sure A-Move will have something to say about that. And whoever qualifies in the fourth heat, which will probably be next week. I'm hoping. feel it's harder for Dark Elves because they can screw up in the lobby, whereas Tomb Kings usually screw up in the battlefield. Sometimes with this game, you can just lose it in the lobby before the actual battlefield, unfortunately. It does happen from time to time, but most of the time it's recoverable if you play really good and your opponent makes 1 or 2 mistakes. But it is tough, I do agree. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do consider whacking that big old thumbs up button. It really helps me get noticed as a growing channel. Been growing a ton actually recently over the last month. I've gained over like 100 subscribers, which is a big deal, down to Darth Plays, who gave me a shout out, and Mr. Turin himself, the great emperor of kind of Total War YouTubers. Played in a King at Hill of his the other day. Some super fun games. Managed to win it somehow, which is a miracle. Played players far better than myself, and somehow came out with a victory. Which was good fun, though. Really good overall. When is the last qualifier at Shetland? Next week, probably Wednesday or Thursday. I'll have to check my schedule. But yeah, we're going to try to get that in next week, and then the finals the week after, if we can get all the players together. Finals, a little bit more wishy-washy on when their time is going to be, because I try and give it a few weeks to get everyone involved, but unfortunately, eventually I'll have to put my foot down and be like, okay, to this day, if you can't make it, please nominate a champion. But yeah, should be next week. Yeah, so we will see who is right and who manages to qualify here. Looks like Chosen One is ready. Get a little sip of water before they start, just to keep my voice from dying. And we're good to go. Who is your money on? Noob for Life or Chosen One? Looks like Noob for Life might just be changing 1 or 2 things last second there. Before hopping in. Yeah, it's good to see so many people in chat though. A lot of people watching. I think this might be our biggest stream so far. Most amount of people in. Which is pretty damn awesome. We are, I think, roughly a third of the way there to the magic 1,000 subscribers. Which will then allow us to gain loads of new features and stuff. I can drop links to other YouTubers into my Discord and stuff into chat. I become sponsored. Not sponsored, but like, you know, YouTube like give you a few pennies now and again for your work and stuff. So should be good fun. Hopefully going to be getting there as soon as possible. But at the same time, this is just good fun overall, so I'm always happy to cast these, regardless of, you know, how many people view and stuff, but it does really kind of give something for the competitors to fight for, which is nice to see. Oh, New for Life just correcting a small rule break, which is perfect. Took too many of a single unit. So we'll just wait for him to ready up. And we'll get this started. It's going to be interesting as well. Best of 5 final is something we brought in, I think, the last Death Before Dishonour we did. One of the ones from Season 3. Originally we did best of 3 finals, but I think best of 5 is a better format. Forces the players to take more factions. Allows for a lot more glorious comebacks as well. And as you can see from our last one we did, which was 3-2 with Chosen One, up against Alric Rod, was such good fun. I think we're going to keep the best of 5 final format. I think it works pretty good. I'm also enjoying the blind picks as well. Does add a little bit of randomness to the final, once you've kind of gone one each. But at the same time, I think, you know, that's all part of the fun, and can allow for some pretty weird matchups that you normally wouldn't see. What? Did you not promise a 24-hour stream when you hit 1,000 subs? I don't remember making that promise, man. I don't remember making that promise. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not like it's been recorded. Stream yourself sleeping. That would be a horrendous sight, because I'm a terrible sleeper. I like bounce around all over the place. That Noob for Life is having to redesign his army a little bit to get away from that rule break, unfortunately, he did. Creepiest thing that I've ever seen in type. Stream yourself sleeping. Maybe I'll wear our Sedamus mask and just sleep looking into the camera. Someone else did say they'd do a 24-hour stream when Total Warhammer 3 dropped. I can't remember who it was. Might be Mr. Dove. Might be. So look out for that. Make sure he does do that indeed. Might be a good idea actually to do that with someone if I do a 24-hour stream, like teamed up with someone and then do 12 hours each. Might be a good shout. But maybe do that Poison Ducky or someone. We'll see. We will see. Some people actually do that. Well, that film themselves sleeping and put it on YouTube. Some people worry me, man. I don't understand people too well, I don't think. It's like that girl who sold her bath water. That, like, who buys that? I don't understand. Why do you want some girl's bathwater? But, you know, the world is a weird and creepy place. It is weird. Anyway, let's get started. Lots resting on this battle. One of them will get the glorious attempt to take on the flying taco. Don't know if that is a reward or a punishment, but we will find out. So let's have a little look at Noob for Life's build. Oh, he's going to be teleporting all over the place to start with, but it looks like he's gone for a huge cav contingent, but we'll go through his infantry first. We do in fact have 3 dread spears, including the regiment renowned, the Hellebroni. These guys look incredibly awesome in their little pink armour, and also a little bit better at holding the line and doing some decent damage. We have 1 unit of Sisters of the Singing Doom, regiment renowned Witch Elves, can do some decent work overall. I do not believe these guys have the Rampage, unfortunately, though. Let's see. Oh no, they do. They can turn you into Rampage. I always get confused. There's 1 Witch Elves which don't, I believe, but they do in fact do the Rampage. We also have 2 units of the Black Guard of Nagron, so relatively elite, even though it's pretty small for a front line. And then we've gone for lots of cheap cav, I assume. So we do have Slash's Harvesters, regiment round Doomfire Warlocks. See these guys in almost every matchup. We then have Cold One Knights, 2 units of those guys in fact. A little bit worse than the Lizardman variety, but still a decent heavy hitting cav unit overall. Dark Riders with shields, 2 of those total. So pretty big core in general. We have a Ferroman's core up in the sky as well. Please say this is the Beast Lord. I'd really like this pick if it is. It is a Supreme Sorceress of Fire, but she's on top of her man's core. It does look very cool with its armour, and she has, of course, brought the Opal Amulet, the Burning Head, Cascading Fire Cloak, and Fireball, so some decent utility overall. Fire magic, so potent and powerful up against the Tomb Kings. However, as you can see, really nice positioning here from Chosen One. So what he's done, a bit more of a checkered board approach with his deployment here of Skeleton Warriors. So if Burning Head does come down, it will only catch 1 unit and not 2. So I like that deployment already. So we have Skeleton Warriors into the sunset here, making up a okay front line, pretty cheap and cheerful, but will hold for a decent amount of time. 2 units of Nekakar Horsemen on the left-hand flank. For his leadership corps, looks like we have a Tomb Prince, decent combatant in general, anti-large as well. He is going to be... Oh no, he's not rolling dirt, he's not protecting his Liege Lord, although we do have another Tomb Prince, this time on a horse. He's going to be protecting Arkan the Black, seems to be the most popular pick today. See him quite a lot. Him and Setra are probably the most competitive of the 2 anyway. Has brought his Tomb Blade and of course Staff Nagash, as you you always kind of see. Fate Abuna and Spirit Leech as well. So pretty decent build overall. We've got some new Shopty Great Bows in the back for that long range damage. A couple of Skeleton Horseman Archers for that harass, and 1 unit of Carrion as well. It'll be interesting to see how these guys compare. Balance power actually already slightly favours the Dark Elves though. Now those Manti summons will be rough. Oops, I didn't pick a horse for my hero. Oh, Chosen One didn't mean to do that. Oh no. Oh well. He should be fine. Cool. And so I'll have a little quick look at chat there, but we will get this underway. So Chosen One is pushing forward here with his forces. We're trying to hunt down Noob for Life's Dark Elves who are cowering in the trees like elves do. But looks like we're a bit bold and start pushing out from their defensive formation. These Carrion are going to have a nasty time up in the sky with 2 of these Manticores floating around. With some nice early shots coming in. Looks like they're just shooting Dread Spears, but we're going to be probably shooting at Black Guard is probably the best bet here. They are going to have to fall back a little bit as Dark Riders do swarm forward. I'm expecting a counter charge any moment from Nekakar Horsemen, or maybe they're just going to be falling back behind friendly lines. Ooh, Sister Singing Doom is a perfect target for those archers if they can get close here. Looks like the Carrion just hiding over there and biding their time to hop on some much more juicy targets late game. And loads of fire now, focusing down the Sisters of Singing Doom. Already doing a decent amount of work, and a nice Skeleton Summon as well, slowing down the Black Guard of Nagrond and making the Dark Elf attack more jagged, kind of coming in drips and drabs, which is really not what you want. You want to hit like an absolute hammer and break through the lines as quickly as possible. Tomb Prince also being used to block the charge early on here, so really nice play by Chosen One already, delaying this engagement as nice as possible. Nekakar Horseman tried getting a rear charge in, but they got counter-charged by Cold One Riders and Slash's Harvesters, and that is disaster for these Nekakar Horsemen, who need to flee as quickly as possible. Liber Mortis has been popped on them, but they need to get out there as quickly as possible. Skeleton Ones are pushing up, and we do also have a Fate Abuna coming down on the Slash's Harvesters though, doing some okay damage here, but overall, nice pick up by the Dark Elves. Dread Spears really struggled up against the Tomb Prince here and getting nuked by a nice Burning Head coming down. Looks like they did some really good work to those Tomb Guard. But apart from that, didn't hit too much, but still good value. And Ferromanticore now has trapped Ark in the black. Supreme Sorceress as well, originally trying to shut down the Shopty Great Bows, but instead now focusing down Arkin, and he needs to get out of there or get some Tomb Prince support. Word of Pain pops down on this guy, going to make him pretty useless for a while, but he does rally in, try and help deal with these guys, and some 360 no-scopes going to be coming from the Shopty, no doubt, as well. Should do some decent damage to Supreme Sorceress. Blade of Setep has been popped. And Arkin is sitting here and taking this fight. This is risky. I'd fall back with Arkin and allow the Tomb Prince to do all the damage. Shopty, though, going into combat. Apart from that front line, it looks like it's going relatively well for the... it's pretty even, actually. This left flank, Cold War Knights, slowly being dragged down by Nectar Warriors and Skeletons here. But there's some very healthy Sisters of Seeing Doom, Cold Riders and Black Guard all across the battlefield here. The balance party is actually starting to go in favour of the Dark Elves. Nice Shopty summon, though, in the back here. If they can pin in this Ferromanticore and kill it, that'd be some decent work. It is starting to rampage, but it's rampaging after the Tomb Prince and Arkin the Black, which is pretty funny. And Blackguard Nagrand will destroy Arkin as he is on his horse. And of course, these guys get that nice juicy bonus versus large. He's trying to flee here, but Noob for Life doing a really good job so far in this battle. He comes in and starts smashing these Tomb Kings to pieces so far. Down on the low ground, Skeleton Warriors are being finished off by Sisters of Seeing Doom. Some Archfire is coming in, though, and getting some really good value on those guys. But we've got loads of Cold War Knights left, 2 very healthy Blackguard of Nagarond. We need to see some Fair Bunas and stuff going down on those guys. Supreme Sorcerer just needs to stay in the air now. No point dropping down and really getting engaged. However, you Shopty Great Bows, again, still a threat to her, of course. Ferromanticore as well, relatively beat up. Pretty even fight. I think slightly in favour of the Dark Elves here. Those Blackguard are going to be a nightmare to deal with. He's just going to keep pushing them forward. It's going to become a bit of a skirmish game here. Arkin very low on health as well. Always got to be wary of the Manticore Snipe. I expect the Tomb Prince to come back and protect. Now, not taking this Tomb Prince on horse may be a way back in the game for Chosen One. It was an accidental mistake, but now these Blackguard do not get the bonus versus large against him, and he should do a decent job at tearing those guys apart. Looks like Manticore has gone after Arkin the Black, who did pop the Liber Mortis, giving him that physical resistance, though. And he needs to run for the hills once more, though. Skeleton Horseman Archers and Tomb Prince on horse going to be rallying in here, and very unfortunate there for this poor Ferromanticore. There's Rampage as he got hit by the Tomb Prince, and he's going to get taken to town now. Sisters of Seeing Doom have taken a huge amount of damage from Archers overall. And it looks like we do have a unit, very healthy unit of Karen over here who need to come back and start affecting the play where they can. Not Nectar Horseman. Skeleton Horseman Archers doing a great job routing some Dread Spears as well, protecting these Shopty Great Bows, so going to do some really decent damage from long range. Now it looks like, oh, the Supreme Sorceress did land and go down here up against the Tomb Prince, which was a disaster. Looks like she was going in to try and snipe Arkin the Black, which would have been such a fantastic pick. But unfortunately, the Supreme Sorceress does go down here. Looks like surrounded by a Skeleton Warrior. Something got stuck on the ground, and the Tomb Prince managed to do some decent work. One of the Tomb Princes, though, has been on Rampage here, unfortunately, but he's on foot, so he should be fine and decently be able to deal with Cold War Knights. But with that Supreme Sorceress going down, she should have just stayed in the air. There was no point getting engaged here. Just drop fireballs on Arkin until he goes down. He doesn't have much health left, just 800. The battle would have been his, but now the Blackguard really up against it. Maybe they have enough, but I think their leadership's going to break. If they fought to death, perhaps they could deal with a lot of these forces. But with the Tomb Prince and all the Archfire come in, I don't think it's going to be enough. And that game swung so quickly there, that one decision to charge him with the Supreme Sorceress of Fire. So Noob for Life is saying GG, he has given up, but what a champion here. Bringing Chosen One, bringing the best out of him, really. Forcing this game to go all the way to the third game, and it was again another close affair. Chosen One, it does love the long game, though, bringing it to the very end, as we've seen previously on the channel. Tomb Prince, not bringing on the horse, seriously helps, I think, Chosen One's build, allowing him to push forward and deal with the Blackguard effectively, and GG's. Very well played. Very, very well played indeed. Let's pop some GG's in chat before we update the scoreboard. So, Flying Taco, it is your time to shine. The lobby password is 123. Overall, though, 2 super fun builds, 144 kills as Supreme Sorceress. Those Burning Heads doing some really decent work overall, but unfortunately losing her really did cost them. I think perhaps the Tomb Kings had the edge anyway, and they were probably going to grind it out. But with the health units of Blackguard and Nagarond, maybe he could have dragged it out. But again, nice play by both players there. GG. Great set of games as usual. Those Manticore attack animations are stupid anyway. Yeah, launching forwards can be a little bit of a problem. So we are going to be switching map as well to El Anguil. Let these guys chat for a few seconds before Flying Taco does pop in. So we'll update the scoreboard. So that, of course, was 2-1 there to Chosen One. I'll actually switch these around because they're on the other side. So Flying Taco and Chosen One on the right hand side. And let's load that down. So it is a best of 5 this time, so one player will need to win 3 games to finish off the season. It's been a good season as well. Sorry it was so dotted around. I took a bit of a break from streaming and so forth quite a while. So the first 2 episodes were months apart from the last 2. But we are back on top now. Season 3 is well underway as well, so there's plenty of this content constantly coming. So if this is your type of thing, feel free to stick around. Got to root for Taco. Oh, he's rooting for Taco. They're his clanmate though, so you do expect that. Let's see what you guys thought of that in chat. Lots of messages I missed by the looks of it. Was not expecting the infantry focused Tomb King build. It did pretty good. Seems like he didn't engage as effectively as he needed to get the cav in. Yeah, needed those. The cold ones could have been a really decent pick here, but they got kind of stuck up. Not for me, you sure, bro? I'd normally say good luck, but got to move Sacco. No worries, and we'll drop Mr. Flying Taco a cheeky invite just so he knows the lobby is clear. Boop, there he is. We'll get this underway. Hey! Hey. I will flip a coin to see who picks first. So, if the coin is heads, Mr. Flying Taco will go first. If it is tails, Chosen One will go first. And it is tails chosen to pick first. Good to see. Tomb King Cav is better for the cost, but less punch. That is indeed true. And Arkan has been a tank all day. Tomb King's doing very good so far. Unfortunately, Dino Boys has still not got a victory, but there's also a lot of factions we haven't seen yet as well. Empire, Dowie, and so forth. So hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 of them as well. I think Dowie are a bit of an odd one. There's a few players in the community who are super good with them. And then there's not too many other kind of medium level players that actually play them. But these guys, both very top tier, so we could definitely see some Dowie play in general. Make sure there's no questions on Discord. Nope, looks like I'm all good in the hood. So I pop back and wait for Chosen One to figure this out. Of course, it does take a little bit of kind of sorting out, as you do have to go the distance, possibly up to 5 games. So picking and banning does take a little while. Super good entertainment so far from these players. Have a little sip of my drink as well. Flying Taco just hopping through his list there while we're waiting for Chosen One. We'll see. I would like to see some Wood Elf action as well today. I'm actually a big fan of them. I quite like the Rush build with Wild Riders. I am a big fan of Orion as well. I know he's not necessarily the most competitive pick. Glade Lady and Glade Lord kind of overshadow him a bit, but he's still very decent, super tanky and durable. And in some matchups, I think he's actually the best pick. So, you know, Wild Rider Rush with Orion could be really good fun. Swift Shiver Shards as well do a decent amount of work. But we'll see. This seems like a pretty hard matchup by person. They haven't picked yet, Shatland, no. Still waiting on Chosen One. Hopefully he's all good. He might have just taken a quick break, which is fine. Let's start with Greenskins. Yes! The boys! I was actually having a really fun chat earlier with Zeus, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, but they get represented very well by Dutch Skink. And we were talking about all goblin builds and the different things you can do. So, Greenskins, banning Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts. Pretty good bans as well. Greenskins tend to struggle against anyone with big monsters in general, and that long grindy fight up against Vampire Counts just isn't good for them. Lizardmen, the curse! Let's see if I can break the curse. This is a really good matchup for Lizardmen, however. Once again, similar to Counts, Greenskins struggle to take down large entities. They do have Durassi arrows and so forth, and Black Orcs can do a decent job, but big dinosaurs can work really well. But we saw earlier, Flying Taco did go with a similar kind of big dino build up against the Counts and managed to lose, but maybe he's learned from his mistakes. I think big dinos with a couple of banishments to deal with kind of the swarms and the Black Orcs and so forth can work very effectively here, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, Arachnarok spiders as well, very scary. Poison-dealing giant monsters with a bonus versus large can actually duel Lizardmen dinos pretty effectively. They do have some janky animations, unfortunately, which can slow them down and nerf them a little bit. We really need a cam for the coin toss. I have a cam! I don't know why I didn't do it. Don't know why I didn't do that. I suppose it's kind of in my face, so I'd have to pick up the cam and move it around, but we can always do that for next time. Since he's a single entity monster, you can bring him a tree man and 2 dragons. That is crazy. That's pretty damn crazy. That against Beastmen would be delicious. Well, they kind of expect the Durfy pick, so they often kind of bring Minotaurs and great weapons and so forth, get ready to deal with those large entities, but you can snipe those out pretty effectively. Which can indeed work. But yes, hope you guys are having a good time. Good time to ask questions if you do have any is right about now while we're waiting for the players to pick their builds. There's no rush, of course. For these guys to sort it out. Looks like Chosen One is ready though. And will we go the distance? Looks like Flying Taco is ready as Chosen One pops off. Good luck, have fun. Nice to see. Good, good. And I've already said it earlier on the channel, but if you do want to get involved in tournaments, I do have a Discord down below. But the main thing to remember, we call them Death Before Dishonour. There's also my clan tag now, because you should kind of go with the attitude that you would rather lose than cheat, hence Death Before Dishonour. We don't want to see any cheating, just generally being an arse or a bad sport. That kind of stuff stops you getting invited to tournaments and so forth. So as long as you come in with good intentions, you can be competitive, you can be quiet, you don't have to talk too much if you don't want to. I know people have different personalities and so forth. That's all completely fine, as long as you come in with the intent just to have, you know, a good time and be respectful to your opponents. Which is always good to see. And luckily, I've never really had any problems with anyone kind of popping in and not respecting those type of rules. So El Anguil. Pretty awesome map, nice open plains at different moments on the battlefield, but also a lot of trees as well, so you can fight it in multiple ways. On the left hand flank as well, you can do a lot of sneaky stabbings, and on the periphery, there's a lot of trees down here. You can do a really nice deployment here with Vanguard, which can really catch people off guard. Often they check behind them, but they don't check, where is it? It's like, I'll see when the deployment pops up, but you can like hide in like a tiny section of woods. It's really useful. But yeah, nice open plain as well in the middle, so you can force your opponent into a bit of a mosh. At the same time, if you want to go range and you're on this flank, just deploy in this back corner. Be interested to see if we have any Doom Diver catapults there. So let's get underway and have a look at Flying Taco's build here. We do have some Cold One Riders, looks like 2 units overall, 1 on each flank at the moment. And then a mixture of Saurus Warriors and Skinks in the front line. I always like having a mixture of both these guys. I think it works pretty well. Cohort of Sotek once again picked. These guys are real MVPs in a lot of matchups. Refusing to die, of course, very powerful ability. We have a couple of Skink skirmishers in the front line. Looks like 1 normal one and 1 unit of Chameleon Skinks. One of the stickiest and most annoying units in the game. They poison you, they have missile resistance, they do decent damage. General pain in the arse. For his leadership core, we do have Krotgar. I think Krotgar gets nowhere near enough love. I think he's very powerful in a lot of matchups. Hand of the Gods does insane burst damage. Now, if he sees a Goblin Shaman, for instance, pop that on him, you just kill him instantly. It does so much work. Bring in all his nice buffs and so forth. And he is going to be assisted by, if we can find him, this little Skink Priest of Beast here. Coming in Flock of Doom and Manticore Summon. Very competitive picks overall. We also have a Stegodon as well. Looks like he is going to be setting up... Oh, we have a Bastildon with Soul Engine as well. I nearly missed. So we have him and a Stegodon coming with that big bow. So nice range firepower indeed. Now for Chosen One and the Greenskin forces, we do have a mixture of Goblins, Night Goblins and Black Orcs in the front line. Even some Orc Boys as well. So a very mixed line indeed. We have a couple of Trolls in reserve. Luckily there's no Salamanders to take those guys out. We have more Goblins in the secondary line protecting Durassi Arrows and Savage Orc Arrow Boys. A couple units of Forest Goblin Spider Riders. We have some chariots as well, so really mixed build overall, quite liking this indeed. 2 giants, so go for the double giant build, and Azag the Slaughterer up in the sky here, always a nice menace. Look at that horrible plating on his stomach there, being a big mouth there, that is disgusting. And Azag, pretty decent combatant overall. Does, of course, have the War, Foe Seeker, Fated Unit, and Spirit Leech. So going for the competitive picks overall. Now, the double giants could do some absolute havoc here. There is no Temple Guard to stop them. They can go toe-to-toe as well with big dinosaurs, but Kroggar can handle them, and especially with assistance from 2 Cold One Riders, but maybe not 2 giants. It's going to be interesting to see. Big Bow Fire and the Bastillon Fire might be able to soften up before they get engaged, but that will allow the Black Orcs to approach unhindered, and also Trolls can do some decent work as well. Good luck, have fun by both players there, good to see. And Azag the Sorcerer floats in front of his army here, spying out the opposition. Looks like he's just going to turn away though. Does see that the Lizardmen have some range potential themselves. I'm going to be really interested to see how these giants do in fact play. What's up, King of the Dead? Happy to see you, my dude. We'll try and get him, of course. He's played on the channel before, but nice to always get him on some of these tournaments as well. You have missed a little bit. We're in the finals, but don't worry, this is the first game of the best of 5 series. We had 2 finalists, Flying Taco up against Chosen One. So, nice early shots coming by Gary the Bastillon there, doing some decent work to Azak the Slaughterer. And of course, Greenskins have no way of healing, so any damage you can chip away early on is vital. Hand of the Gods as well, if it fully connects, will do some really good damage to him. So, just a bit of a slow start to battle, just going to be popping up and doing their little best, doing some damage where they can if Azak gets a little bit too close. And now Gary is aiming for that big giant, once again coming with some decent damage. He needs to get those guys whittled down, as they're going to stomp all over these skinks and sorcerers if they get too close. Looks like Stegodon is firing in as well. Chariot's just pushing these skink skeletons back. He probably knows he can't catch them, but pushing them back behind his line so he can't target any of the juicy targets he really wants to hit on. And Goblin Wolf Chariots going to be falling back now once they realise that they can't catch those poor little guys. As they're going to be swinging around to this right-hand flank. Now, what's going to be best the fate of Buna here? Probably some of the Cold One Riders, or maybe even just Spirit Leech spam them. As getting rid of those guys nice and early will be a pretty big boon and help the Giants out immeasurably. So it looks like a Spirit Leech has popped on top of Kroggar. So you're going to be losing health there, not bad. Again, these guys don't have any way of healing either because they have not bought a Rev Crystal. And any damage you can do is a bonus. But yeah, floating around the right-hand side there. Some early damage now still coming down on those skink skirmishers. Probably want to change their focus fire. And the hordes of the greenskins have emerged. Fortunately, his giants taking a bit of a beating on the way in. But with a war popped, they are going to decimate some of these forces. And a juke there from Azak the Slaughterer, wasting one of Kroggar's 2 hands of the gods there. That is huge. Those do so much damage if they connect. It looks like it was a complete swing and a miss. Trolls running in ahead on top of these Cold One Spear Riders, getting the charge as well. If the war is popped, these guys will do some fantastic damage. Cold One Spear Riders going to be fleeing though, probably wrapping back around as well. Forest Goblin Spider Riders riding in as well. Can anything stop this Greenskin horde? It's going to be tough. Looks like the Giant is going to go for a one-on-one duel with Kroggar, who has been Spirit Leech once again. But my god, that Giant is taking huge damage from Kroggar here, who has popped. So I haven't popped all his buffs yet, I don't think. And Manticore Summon has gone on in the background. But Kroggar getting 2v1 here, so he decides to fall back, not bad play. Got some decent damage on the Giant overall. On the other side, it looks like Stegodon has managed to push back some Trolls, and also the Goblins on this flank, with help of the Cold One Riders, who can do really good work up against these Trolls. But they will regen and come back into the fray. Cold One Riders once again get caught and charged, this time by Cold One Wolf, not Cold One Wolf Chariots, Goblin Wolf Chariots, will do a decent job. Looks like we are going for a bit of a mosh on the Giant here, pinned in by the Stegodon, plus some Cold One Riders can do some decent job. And in the background, Azak the Slaughterer is attempting to assassinate that Skink Priest before he can get off a second Manticore Summon. In the distance, looks like Kroggar just doing his best, hanging out here with the Manticore, clearing up Trolls where he can, probably trying to save up for the extra Hand of the Gods. Poor Bastillon engine though, nice Overwatch fire coming by some Savage Orc Arrow Boys into Rusty Arrows, of course doing that armor sundering, forcing him back, and the Giant getting some decent work in. But both Giants down to about half health, and a second Feral Manticore Summon does come into that Priest. Did manage to survive long enough to get those off here. Second one done decent work overall. Kroggar coming in for some nice cycle charging on the Giant, getting decent work in before falling back to the safety. Well, there's not really any safety left actually with Trolls coming in to pin him in place. But there is 2 Feral Manticores coming down to help him, trying to snipe out this Giant, which is a good play overall, I think, in my opinion. Over on the left-hand flank, this Stegodon really holding the Lizard Men together ahead, with Azag coming in as well, trying to snipe out those Cold One Riders. It's going to be tough for him to keep fighting, but he's heavily armoured, and more Cold One Riders rally into the cause here. Skink Priest just going to be running back to try and shut down the Rusty Arrows. It'll be interesting to see if those guys are in guard mode. And Black Hawks up to 65 kills are pushing through here. Going to do some decent damage to this Bastillon. Looks like a Hand of the Gods did come in. Was it a swing? Was it a miss? Probably a hit on the Giant there, but unfortunately did not see it. A nice Spirit Leech. Once again, it does come down on Kroq-Gar, who's trying to duel Azag, but this is a risky engagement with the Giant nearby, and of course the poison damage that does come in. But Kroq-Gar is mighty. Big slap, though, coming across his face. He is going to have to start to fall back, I'm afraid. But Bastiladon getting a bit of revenge, getting some decent shots in on Azag. Looks like the Rusty Arrows have been completely shut down. Nice play by Flying Taco doing that backline pressure, hunting these guys down. And the Rusty Arrows, they don't want to be here. This is not where the lads want to be. They're going to be chewed apart quite quickly. However, if a second war is being charged up here by Azag, that could be key in the late game. He's been doing a decent amount of combat. Backline starting to get stabilised here. Kroq-Gar very low health-wise though, going to be used to just decimate some goblins and help out some skinks. But a couple more Spirit Leeches and he will be in deep trouble. Looks like the Giant trying to get over here, actually hunting down Kroq-Gar the best, but he's taking rear attacks from the Stegodon. Needs to get out of there where he can. Azag needs to help this guy, but there's not too much left, and I think the Lizardmen have weathered the storm. That was really dangerous for a second there. Kroq-Gar getting very low. Another Spirit Leech popped on him, but I think they've slowly dealt with the Giants very effectively, isolating them and pinning them in. Azag coming for the Death Strike here, attempting to assist his Giant friend, who is starting to rout though. Kroq-Gar down to 600 health, but Azag is wavering himself, 790 health, and he is routing here, which could be disastrous. Kroq-Gar going to try hunting him down, but he does get up into the air, so perhaps he could rally. But with that, so many of the Skaven forces, as you can see, running and breaking for the hills. We have a lot of units which can come back, but really nice play here by Flying Taco. I can't stress how important this is. Using your beat-up units, which are quite quick, to chase down routing units, pushing that balance power even more in your favour and not allowing them to come back into the late game. Every little does help. Taking off those troops certainly adds up. And down Azag goes. Pulled apart there, I think by the Bastiladon. It looked like some javelins would be in front of him, but I'm not sure where from. The Chosen One does concede that first game. What's up, David the White Lizard? How's it going? Croissant, you're here as well. Greetings, greetings. Hope you guys are doing good. And yes, King of Dead, we were 250 likes a week ago. Yes, we've kind of gone up quite nicely. We had some shout-outs from... I played in a Turin stream, basically. Did pretty good as well, which I suppose is a good look for the channel. And had a few people come over there. So gained, like, 50, 60 subs from that alone, which was quite nice. So, overall, we finally have a victory for the Lizardmen. Flying Taco taking the lead here in this matchup. Managed to isolate those Giants and slowly drag them down. It is a tough matchup for the Greenskins, though, so perhaps Chosen One was getting them out of the way early, and he has made Flying Taco play Lizardmen, who he is very good with. So it's going to be interesting to see who he picks and bans now. GG. We are now going to be playing on Pillar of Bone. And after this, we have Alpine Ridge, Schwafsterhafen, and Kelp and Coldust. Nice, saying well played in the chat there. And let's update the scoreboard. Flying Taco, 1 up. But of course, it's best of 5. Looks like I have some questions on Discord. Nope, looks like it's all good. So wait for these guys to do their pick and bans. Missed some Skaven on watch. Yes, you did miss a lot of Skaven. You also missed Lizardmen getting their arse kicked multiple times. Was it 3 times or 4 they lost? It was pretty insane, but Flying Taco breaking the curse here and taking this game, the first game, 1-0 now. It was very good indeed. Yes, don't worry, Croissant, you have made it in time for the finals, the most important part, of course. And don't worry, the whole video will get uploaded in case you want to go back and watch the battles. We've had some really close games, and both the semi-finals actually went 2-1, which is always good to see. GG, Lizards finally win one. They did indeed, yes. Good to see. So, Taco picking Norska. Who is he going to ban is the question. Let's have another little sip while we wait for these guys to decide their matchups and so forth. And greetings, if anyone is finding my channel for the first time, I'm going to see we've got a lot of people watching. I do Total War content predominantly. We have started a Hellblade Sinua's Sacrifice live stream as well, which will probably have 1 or 2 videos a week on the side, but no pressure to watch it if you only kind of are interested in Total War, but it's good fun. And at the same time, I do tournaments for Total War, King of the Hills, which are a blast every time. Just anyone can sign up. Just join my Discord, link in the description below. And yeah, that's what I'm mainly focused on. So if you want to stick around and enjoy this type of stuff in the future, feel free to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. It makes me very happy. And I hear that you get a blessing upon you as well from the great duck, which tastes delicious with Hossen sauce and then pancakes. So he's banning vampirates, and the tension is too much for me. The anticipation. Banning vampires, which is pretty good. I think like Norska have the tools to kind of drag through them quite quickly though. They can tear through that front line, and you have decent tools to do it large. But maybe he's not a fan of fighting those guys. Banning vampires and the dinos, which I think is a fairly even matchup, but I quite like the dinosaurs with the Umbletide, Krokgar, and so forth. So we'll see who Chosen One picks. I think there's a lot of even matchups. I feel like Norska are in a relatively good place apart from their characters. They need 1 or 2 more characters. I think. Just having Wolfric's the only real value, like, I think he's the only sensible choice. Like, the chieftains aren't good in general, in my opinion, and Frog's really risky. If they have fire damage, like, especially anti-large fire damage, he goes down so quickly. In certain matchups, he can do well, and I've seen people use him pretty decent as well. But I think he's just so much more risky than Wolfric. Duck, why did you start Hellblade in particular? Usually people will say that it was not just for gameplay or story, but for more of a message, I guess. So I started... One, I love Vikings in general, and Norse mythology is a huge one for me. I love it. It's the basis of a lot of what we know, at least in Europe, as kind of fantasy. Like Lord of the Rings and so forth is all based off kind of original Norse mythology. So I'm a big fan of that anyway. I really like the idea of doing a storytelling game. And I saw about 5 seconds of the trailer for number 2, and I thought, nope, I'm going to pause this. This is something I probably want to do on the channel, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a live stream of the first game, which I know is quite old. Do that, and then we'll do the second one when it comes out. And of course, it deals with psychosis. I want to say the mental health issue is. And that intrigues me quite a lot, mental health. I want to make sure it's done well, as well, because I think mental health can often be portrayed pretty poorly in games and so forth in the past, just for the sake, like, the cinematic kind of sense of it, I suppose, of these kind of crazy characters. But it seems to be done really good. I'm enjoying that game so much. It is super atmospheric. Plus, you get to see me with a face cam, which is scary. Unfortunately, the lighting was really poor. For some reason, my light sometimes goes really dark. I probably should have just turned it off and on. So you're going to see my face too much, but we will be doing that in future streams. Wow, thanks for the $50 donation on stream at Rubber Ducker War. What? Wow, thanks for the $50 donation on stream. I don't think I donated €2 today, Moss, I'm sorry to say. It is done perfectly. It's such a good game. I'm enjoying it so much. I got really stressed towards the end with the battle, and my controller wasn't working, so I had to do keyboard and mouse. And I do not play keyboard and mouse games, apart from strategy games, so it was a nightmare, and it was really stressful. But the game as a whole is so atmospheric. I enjoyed it huge amounts. I'm going to stream it and also play it again afterwards as well, by myself, I think. But anyway, back to Total War. Looks like Chosen One has gone Empire. I love this pick. I guarantee we're going to see a ton of Knights of the Blazing Sun. They deal so well with Skin Wolves, as of course they do that fire damage. They're an answer to Frog, and overall they just run over a lot of Norscan troops. I don't think the Norscans have too many kind of things to deal with against them. I just trolled you. Actually, I was so scared I'd lost 50 quid. Unfortunately, I can't take donations yet. Not at least in the normal way, because you need 1,000 subs, I believe, before you can set that up. But we're getting there, which is good fun. And if anyone does want to support the channel in any other way, there's of course no pressure, but I do have a Patreon account just down below. You can set up like monthly donations or single ones, I believe, and become a Patreon, which will allow you probably in the future as well to determine which other games I play. So most of my content will be Total War based, but we'll have one other game running kind of behind that, I think, is the idea now. So we're going to have Hellblade playing for now. But if there's another game you want in the future, if you become a Patreon, you can just tell me which game that is. And whoever gets the most votes, I will play it. I did it on my son too, and he thought he got his account hacked. I would have panicked so hard. That game literally changed your life. That is really good to hear, Ronan. Those club games can do that, and it's always a joy when they do. Let's try this. Okay, Flying Tiger going to be coming in with a wild build, no doubt, representing the extreme memes. Have I updated the scoreboard? I feel like I haven't. When we get in, I'll pop up and update it. But it is 1-0 to Flying Taco. Which is good fun. Cool. I'll wait for them to loading because I don't want to drop out and the game do anything stupid, because sometimes it does, because to war. However, I can't praise this game enough, though. It does such good work. So, oh, I did change it to 1.0. Oops. Cool. Let's go through their builds. For some reason, oh, it's because my stream had stopped working on there. So, if I see no wagons or grenades, I might say, oh, grenades! That is a really good shout. The grenades do decent damage in this matchup against the lightly armoured Norskins. Anyway, front line, we have a load of Marauders mixed in with Marauder Champions, the elite of the elite, the most hardcore Ragnar Lothbrok's Royal Bodyguard. These guys do some really decent work in that front line, and a bit of stability where Norskins normally struggle. We have the Soul Crush spread around Warmouth with the ability to tank a huge amount of damage, plus Wolfric the Wanderer on the Mammoth as well, so going all in on those big entities. We have a couple of Marauder Spearmen in the back line, and also some Marauder Berserkers in the centre pocket. We have Famir Warriors with great weapons, going to do a decent job at taking down Cav. Also a Famir Balefiend with Shadows coming in. Does he have Mind Razor? No, he does not. Mind Razor would work pretty well with Wolfric the Wanderer, but maybe he's powerful to us enough anyway. Instead, we have the Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, which is just great, and Melkoff's Mr. Fine Miasma. So overall, super fun, pretty straightforward build, just going to be trying to punch the enemy to death as fast as possible. Now let's have a cheeky look at Chosen One's build, taking the high ground here. Obi-Wan would be very impressed indeed. So we have a bazillion spearmen here, so many of them. So they'll be taking a defensive formation. Looks like they are mixing with a couple of units of halberds. Don't want to flank for a bit of AP and better damage against the big monsters and so forth. We also have Sigma's Sons, Regiment Renowned Swordsman, Sigma's finest and bravest of warriors, of course Unbreakable, which is invaluable in a kind of defensive formation, especially with someone like Empire who can struggle with leadership. Great swords as well, so a very infantry-focused build. I was expecting a lot more Knights of the Blazing Sun. War Priest in the front line, going to be holding it down with all his buffs. We also have handgunners up on the high ground. No silver bullets though, just the 2 regular ones. And yeah, that looks like it's going to be most of it. We do have 1 unit of Empire Knights and just 1 Great Cannon. So a very defensive formation, just to protect 1 cannon, but it is going to force the Norskins in. They cannot outrange this, and will allow Chosen One to pick and choose his engagements a little bit more wisely. For his leadership, we do have Marcus Wolfhard. Okay. This is pretty interesting. So he's going to be coming in here, getting those long-range shots and letting people down. We also have a Death Wizard coming in with Spirit Leech and also Power Stones. So he's going to be constantly trying to Spirit Leech Wolfric where possible. And Pistol is in the front line. No grenade launchers. I feel like grenade launchers are so underused by the Empire. They do huge damage. They're a little bit tricky to use because, of course, they can only fire forward, and that can be a bit of a struggle sometimes with skirmish cav. But if used effectively and protected with knights and so forth, protect against hounds and all those other kind of enemy skirmish cav, they can decimate. It's so good. Looks like Flying Taco is ready. Last minute adjustments being made by both players. Who is your money on? Can Chosen One bring this game back to a tie, 1-1? Or will Flying Taco put himself firmly in the driving seat here and go 2-up in this best of 5 final? There are unfortunately no wagons, which I'm very upset about. But in comes the Soul Crusher and Wolfric. They're going to be beastly here. They're going to be beastly. They need to get in the back line and shut down the 2 handgunners, but if they can do that, it's not too much, which is perfectly designed for killing them. Wolfric, though, getting some early shots in. And instantly a Spirit Leech, an upgraded Spirit Leech, does go down on the Famir Balefiend. Upgraded only extends the range, doesn't extend damage or anything, but maybe he just wants to get that damage in straight away. And then, yeah, he's going to try and snipe him out by Wolfric. Oh, look at that damage coming in already. Luckily for me, it's a bit more tanky than some wizards. And the cannon coming in, he is fully going for that snipe on the enemy's caster there, which is brilliant because there's so much Winds of Magic value in this guy that he's just not going to be able to use any of it if he does get forced off. And Arcane Conduit going down, he really wants to get some spells off quickly. Pistolers, firing a few shots into Wolfric, but nothing to write home about damage-wise. Famir Balefiend has managed to rally and survive so far as Wolfric is getting pushed back. Pistolers, just firing a few shots. You know, they're tickling him a little bit. I suppose every little does help. And the Soul Crusher getting a little bit eager there and pushing forward, but it's going to be falling back. And a cannon shot once again hits the Balefiend, who has broken. He will be coming back. But another extended range Spirit Leech coming in. He really wants to force that guy off. Taking away your opponent's magic this early can be deadly. You see Flying Taco bunched up quite a bit here, so the big net does come in. The Hunter Snare pinning so many troops in place, including Wolfric the Wanderer, messing up the attack of Flying Taco here. But that isn't the world's longest net, and a nice bolt does come down in a bit of retaliation there on the handgun. It's doing some okay damage, but it looks like it was mainly dodged. And the Marauders do charge in. Now these guys will have a decent matchup here against the Halberds, and of course Marauder Champions will tear apart most of this infantry. Great also will do a decent job. Berserkers charging in to match them, however. War Priest trying to help the front line out here and rally these great swords. They are terrified and instantly forced back. Soul Crusher and Warfric do force their way into this backline incredibly quickly. Hunter Champions, no! Popped on Marcus. He's going to get deleted by Warfric here, although he does get flung to the ground there, which actually saves him and may be able to get him out of this predicament that he's in. If he can get another snare up, he may be able to escape here. The Mammoth, unfortunately, a little bit janky there, not being able to take advantage of all the negatives to Marcus, but coming with another hit here. And once again, though, flings him to the ground with a bit of a janky animation. Yes, he does decent damage to the handgunners, but Marcus basically untouched. There we go. One big hit coming in. Backline is in complete ruins here as the Soul Crusher does come in. Pops his Enrage as well, giving that 44% damage distance. And he's just going to town on these Spearmen and Empire Knights, who are going to be doing basically nothing to him. But he needs to focus on these handgunners, push them back, shut down this Great Cannon as well. Wolf the Wanderer, though, taking a massive amount of damage. Unfortunately, not able to hop in there and do damage to Marcus. Nice Pendulum coming down along the Empire front line as that Battlefiend is trying to get a bit of revenge as he has managed to rally to the field. Pistoliers doing some decent work now and have managed to rally around Marcus. And have in fact broken Warfric the Wanderer here. Handgunners as well have managed to rally. They can finish him off here. That'd be some fantastic value. And they can start focusing down at the Soul Crusher. And what a clutch net. Marcus about to be hit here by the Soul Crusher, has managed to fall back and net both Warfric the Wanderer plus the Soul Crusher, allowing these handgunners to finish off Warfric here. Down to 112 health, one more volley should do it. That's a Warrior Priest. Hold the line in the name of Sigma. Really doing his best here to kind of keep these Marauder champions at bay, and he's doing a great job with his buffs and debuffs, and the Empire are cruising here to victory. Fantastic early pressure on the Battlefield. Really managed to snipe him out. It looked like the game could have been turned on its head. If Warfric didn't get chucked on the ground and just took a few of those big hits by Warfric the Wanderer, this game could have been completely different. If he broke, a lot of the Empire troops would not have stayed and fought against these giant mammoths. And Chosen One bringing the series to 1-1, just what we like to see. Very good play indeed. Really nice Empire play. Agreed there. I hate mammoths. Glad Chosen One. Well, really cool build coming by both players. A bit of a rush blitz build coming by Flying Attacker, but nice sniping on the Battlefiend. Still got 52 kills with like the one spell he managed to get off. But really nice layered performance here by Chosen One. Good sniping coming in with the Wizard and Wolfheart here to take down the caster and whatnot. But overall, I actually really quite like the build and players. A little bit skeptical if he's going to be able to deal with both the mammoths with the kind of amount of firepower he did. But he managed to target his opponent well and do decent work. How that caster came back, I have no idea. GG. Great game. And the next map will be Alpine Ridge, one of my favourite maps. A lot of people have mixed opinions on it, but it's an OG from Rome Total War, so you've got to get it in there. And it's very thematic of both players trying to crawl to the top to claim the crown. It should be good fun. That's what you guys said. GG's all round. He had one goal and he went for it, and it worked. It worked. Guys would say not fixed Warfric during the past half year. He's pretty balanced now, I think. He's doing pretty good. I think he's in a decent place. Nice to see the mighty Poison Ducky in chat. He is not only a fellow clan member of DBD, but he is also a YouTuber. Does Total War videos plus a few other games as well. So after this, make sure to go check him out. If you like my stuff, I'm sure you'll like it. No! Outer Deimos, no! I will not have your villainy and your map selection in my stream. Slan Gold. I'm afraid the meme maps will be coming in for King of the Hills, unfortunately, but not for the tournament. It wouldn't be fair on the players who have kind of worked so hard to get here, get through their heat and into the finals. Still double, right? It is still double. Still double. I think double is best for now. Still double ban because the final one's going to be blind picks anyway. And it stops counter picking too hard because this next win could be really key because it forces your opponent to pick their best faction and so forth. By the way, good luck to both finalists. Yes, true. I need to start writing it down. Flying Tiger saying pick Tombkins. I believe it's Chosen One's turn to pick and ban. I think. I should have picked right. Yes. Yep. Yeah, cool. So, Chosen One will be picking first, and then Flying Taco in the next one. And if it goes all the way, it'll be blind picks, which is always good to see. Optimus Pine! How are you doing, my friend? I haven't seen you in so long. Hope you're doing all good, buddy. Nice to see you around. Alright, you didn't see anything. Hey, let Chosen One sort his matchup out. This is discrimination to us map masters. You say map masters. You're map torturers. You terrify people with your map pickings. Ooh, you know what would be a cool statistic to have? To see what percentage of first pick gamers people lose by hours in game. That would be cool to see who actually wins more, whoever picks first or whoever... I feel like picking and banning normally puts you at a disadvantage most of the time, but it depends how well you know your opponent, and also ensures you get out some of your better factions, right? Update scoreboard. Thank you. Thank you, good sir. That is my main weakness is scoreboards and so forth. But we are at 1-1. For a start, it would be good to have any statistic. Yes, I just spoke about this in my top 5 wish list for Total War Warhammer 3 content, and one of them was slightly improved multiplayer. I think you could implement a challenge system very easily. You know, like the site people use for tournaments. You could probably have that on this game, and maybe even set up tournaments where they don't need to be hosted by anyone. So you could give people the ability to set up tournaments on here, on multiplayer yourself, much like how challenge works. Invite people and then it goes through yourself. And I've seen that done in multiple games. That'd be really easy. But also, you could even have like a tournament situation where you just pick you in a queue. When it has enough players, it just kicks off a tournament. And that'd be a good way, I think, of getting competitive play up there a little bit more. But yeah, I think there's a few changes they could definitely do. I think ladder needs to change, the leaderboard needs to change. But overall, this game's so good. You can't complain too much. And the CA do a great job of constantly updating it. No game gets this amount of like love and... Well, Witcher. The Witcher got a lot of good love, extra DLCs and stuff. But they do such a good job, CA. I can't say enough good things about them. So, Chosen One is going Dark Elves, banning Bretonia and Wood Elves. And Flying Tacker going Beastmen. He is one of the best Beastmen players I've seen. Maybe the best. You don't see too many people go Beastmen. There's a few ways you can do it. Mino rushes, swarms to try and kind of surround your opponent very quickly. Yeah, so many different ways you can go there. Also, you can try and push the balance of power, a little bit cheesy, but going with the Cygor plus Manticore summon late game can be really disgusting. I really like the new system of picking 3 and opponent banning 1, then picking. Yeah, that can work quite well. We're map artists. That's pretty cool. Yeah, damage dealt would be pretty useful. Hey, Pope Palpatine, what's up, dude? But yeah, stats in general would be quite nice. I inclined to agree with you, fine gentlemen. So, Alpine Ridge. Pretty tactical map. It makes you think about your builds quite a lot. There's a lot of trees on this left-hand flank for sneaky stab-ins and a few on the right-hand side and so forth, but the map is dominated by this giant hill in the middle, and you try and take the hill early to get line of sight on your opponent and get the high ground, you know, high-five Obi-Wan whilst you're up there and force your opponent to trudge upwards. Do you sit back, shoot your opponent off the hill, let them have it, or do you just fight around the hill, which is also a possibility, which I see a lot of players do as well. The map very different to how it was on Rome Total War, but I assume it's been in every single Total War game. Because I know it's been around from the beginning, but I haven't played all the games, so who knows. But back then it was literally, the whole map was a hill. It was disgusting and horrible. It was just a race all the way up to the top. Silver Spire is also a pretty hilarious map. Don't worry guys, we will get the meme maps back, but they will be in King of the Hill, which maybe tomorrow, it depends. I have a ton of editing to do, which I've started today, and I've just realised how long it's actually going to take me. And I want to get that sorted as soon as possible, so I might not stream tomorrow. May do a Hellblade stream, may do a King of the Hill. Undecided so far, but I will let you guys know, of course, in my Discord. So look down in the description, click that Discord button, and you guys will get a heads up. Good old water. And wait for these players to load in here. How long have we been running for, by the way? If anyone could let me know, that'd be fantastic. How long the stream has been going. So, let's have a little look at Flying Taco here. Trying to reclaim his dominance and get another game up against Chosen One. Let's have a little look at his forces here. So, it's been moving everyone forward, but we'll go through the main part of his army. Ungor spear herds do make up a large amount of his infantry. We also have the Destroyers of Drakhold, the Regiment Renowned version. We have Bestigor herds, at least 2 of them. Looks like just 2, no Regiment Renowns, unfortunately. But those guys, obviously, are more meaty and tanky, will do a decent job at chewing through more elite Dark Elf infantry, while the Ungors can take arrows and swarm spearmen and so forth. For the rest of his build, it looks like we do have some Ungor raiders. I struggle with these guys. I don't know if they're ever worth their value, but at the same time, saturated fire, the fact they can stalk allows them to sneak up on archers quite a lot as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they work and to get other people's opinions on it. We do have the Butchers of Kalkengard doing their best Witcher impression there. These guys regenerate Minotaurs, what's not to love. We also have some shielded Minotaurs here. But I think shielded Minotaurs better in most matchups, not every matchup, but overall can do very decent work and a bit more durability than their great weapon kin. We have 3 units of Razorgore herds who, for their value, are disgustingly good in my opinion. Cheap AP is always decent, anti-infantry as well, and Morga the Shadowgave, just the most competitive pick all round. Now, surely we have a caster, we do. We have Brave Shaman of Wild coming in with that Vermintide. Oh, Vermintide? What's it about? Where's it gone? What's it called? Vile Tide, that's what I'm looking for, and the Cycle Summon. So, this is going to get dicey very early on. Now, for the Dark Elves and Chosen One's forces, up in the high ground, we have Slash's Harvesters and also 2 Dark Riser crossbows who are going to munch these Ungor Spearherds if he's quick enough to react, but take a little bit of damage himself. We have Doomfire Warlocks. 2 extra units of these guys. Don't see the normal version too often. So, nice speedy part to his army. 3 units, or 4 units in fact, of Black Ark Corsairs in the front line with Hambos, who will be doing some decent skirmish and damage overall. And then a load of Dread Spears in the back line. Up in the sky, we do have the dreaded Dark Lord himself, Malekith, up on top of his mighty beast here. I'm assuming coming with the standard spells, we have Gaze of Malice, Soul Stealer, Chillwind, and of course his dragon has Noxious Breath. So kind of expected stuff from Malekith overall. The trees, looks like some Centaurs are hiding on the flank for Flying Taco. Should be interesting to see how this goes. I feel like the Black Ark Corsairs may get run over a little bit, but they'll probably be pulling back and skirmishing and allowing the Dread Spears forward, with the crossbows do the decent damage. Good luck, have fun, and we are underway and instantly up on the high ground. Dark Rise, why are they taking so much damage? They got deleted! Down to half health by Ungor Spearman herd. I suppose Dark Rise with crossbows are very squishy indeed. These guys taking a huge amount of damage, have a Slash's Harvester, should be able to push these guys off. These guys so close to break, and they do start to rout. And a nice Vile Tide coming in as well. Huge damage on Slash's Harvester there. What a start by Flying Taco, who was just a little bit quicker with his micro there. A little bit more focused and did some really decent damage early on. Centaurs were coming over as well. Probably best to use them now to chase off these Dark Riders and force them to either send Malekith or something over to protect them, but maybe he doesn't want to isolate them himself. And in come the early shots now, doing decent damage to Ungor Spearhead, but realistically he wants to be shooting at the Minotaurs and the Bestigors and so forth. Malekith does pop down just to scare away his Ungor herds, but he's going to want to retreat pretty quickly. He does not want to get bogged down. No! He's an attack animation which launches him forwards. And these Razorgore herds, I'm telling you, are so good at pinning in troops. They have a decent amount of mass. If they get a force round, Malekith is in huge trouble here. Can he fit through this tiny gap? It looks like there's one gap he might be able to get through, but he's taking a lot of damage. Nice Gaze of Malice does come down doing some decent work. Now, apart from this little engagement over here, the main battle lines haven't really engaged. The Beastmen a little bit quicker to that high ground, but they're going to get shot off it, so they're going to be having to push down, but getting a bit of momentum in their downhill charge here. And in the distance, we do have a desperate Word of Pain and Soul Stealer coming in on these Centaurs, trying to protect the Slash's Harvesters, with some Spearmen coming in as well on both sides. So Centaurs are going to lose out here, but they did some decent damage anyway. Managed to pin those guys as well. Razorgore Herd's still hunting down Malekith, but not being able to do too much damage to him. So he looks like he's fairly healthy. And the Dark Elves are in flight right now. Bestigor Herd's trying to chase him down. And that Vile Tide, once again, huge damage to these Doomfire Warlocks. That spell, I haven't used it much at all. Doing some really decent work. And it looks like the Butchers of Kalkengard have managed to catch some Black Ark Corsairs as well. And the pressure is relentless from Flying Taco's Beastmen right here. There is just nowhere for the Dark Elves to go. They're trying to get back and rally, doing some really decent work now on these Bestigor herds and some huge damage coming into play. Micro by both players, very impressive. Once again, you can see the battle is being taking place all the way along here, so lots of things for both of them to take into consideration. Malekith looking fairly healthy though, has managed to terrify some Razor herds. Razor Gore Herd should just charge those guys off and force them from coming back to the field. Spearmen doing a decent job up against Ungors. And the Raiders, you know, they're peppering. Malekith doing some decent damage, but a nice chill wound coming down, doing some okay damage themselves. We haven't seen a Cygor summon yet, I don't think. No, but he does have two of those in his back pocket. Maybe wait in the late game, try and push that balanced power over if he needs it. Of course, we have the spawn summons coming in from Morga as well, which is really going to help out. Rezgor's charging to the front line, just trying to overwhelm this section of Dread Spears, force them off, and Black Ark Corsairs, though, get some decent damage now of their archer fight into the destroyers of Drakwold. Need to start targeting down Bestigors, Minotaurs, and so forth to pin them down, as he doesn't have too many tools to deal with them. A nice big fat breath attack coming in here. Looks like it was targeting this big blob in general of Bestigors and a Gaze of Malice. Looks like it was mainly dodge, but still some okay damage coming in as well. Looks like all the buff has been popped now for the Dark Elves, but they're fleeing here, and the Razor Gore Herds made such good value here, chasing down these Black Orc Corsairs, and they've either got to run and just take consistent damage, but the Minotaurs are going to be able to catch them as well, and they're getting forced back to the very edge of the map here, and this is not good for these Black Orc Corsairs. They're going to get munched by these Minotaurs. They need help. Looks like a nice spell coming down here as well by Malekith, but, you know, Brachon hitting too fast. Minotaur's helping pick up this back line. There's a bit of crossfire coming in by the Dark Riders and Black Orc Corsairs here, which might be able to tear apart these Butchers of Kalkengard, but the first summoned Cygor is here, just helping out deal with these Dread Spears, but also probably going to be launching some of his rocks and boulders around at more juicy targets. Looks like we do have our first Chaos Spawn summon as well. And yeah, these Black Orc Corsairs trying their best to escape, but there's nowhere to go. They do not have the pace or any Cold One Knights for protection and so forth. Ungors as well hunting down these Black Orc Corsairs, force them to fire at targets they don't really want to get at. These Razor Gore Herds need to be active here, pop on top of these guys, chase them to the corner. Looks like, luckily for Flying Tacker, these guys actually rampage, which is good, helpful here. Doesn't need to micro them now, they're going to chase these guys into the corner of the map. And over here we have Ungor Spear Herds making themselves useless and tearing apart Snatchers Harvesters. I think the Beastmen here, that was just such insane pressure. I think they've most likely got this, but never count out Malekith. He's an absolute wonder of the world, and especially when all these summons do dissipate the balance power, it's going to be a lot more even than it currently is. There's a lot of Cav which is rallying as well. There's a lot of good engagements for the Dark Elves, so it's a little bit tit for tat. And boom! Only caught 3 of them from that range, so a little bit inaccurate for the Cygor, but still decent damage overall. Let's see if he's a little bit more lucky with this attempt. These guys do reform the line, but he's just going to roar instead and chill out in the background here. So, Chaos Summon have disappeared now, which is good news for the Dark Elves. However, Black Orc Corsairs have managed to escape in some areas, other ones have been completely pinned in, and if these Dark Riders break, they'll be forced off the map, but it looks like the Razor Gores instead going to go after the Black Orc Corsairs. Ungor Spearmen as well did rally just on the edge here. We have a huge power base here for the Beastmen. Of course, the Butchers of Kalkengard, wherever those boys are running around, here they are regenerating the entire time. Still have 11 models as well, so they can regenerate so much here. Looks like he's going to hunt down the much slow-moving Black Orc Corsairs who cannot escape this, and it's going to be a little bit of a nuisance for them. Cygor has disappeared now. It looks like probably a good play by Chosen One here. I'm assuming he's going to take his forces, annihilate these Beastmen here, and save what forces he can before rallying to try and deal with this Beastmen threat, but it's going to be tough. Oh my god, that effed up. Oh god. I mean, that I don't blame him. That was some intense pressure from the start. As I said before, Flying Taco, one of the best Beastmen players I've ever seen. I don't know if I've seen one better. And the rush really worked there. They had a decent amount of AP as well throughout with the Razor Gores and the Butchers and other Minotaurs. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Poor Black Orc Corsairs being chased down here. Trying their 360 no-scops here with their crossbows. But it's not going to go well, lads. It's not going to go well. They've already been terrified and they're slowly getting dragged down. Nice play over here though, Malekith falling upon some Bestigors and terrifying them quite close to the edge of the board, but he's going to get some decent damage and just try and pick apart the Beastmen where he can. Pull apart the Destroyers over here, maybe fly Malekith over and take away the Centaurs, force off all these routing troops and do their best. It looks like the Shaman did get shattered himself, so you're not going to get that second Cygor summon, which would be really clutch for Flying Taco, just pushing that balance power even further in his favour. But there's so many Minotaurs, a very healthy Morgan the Shadowgave and a full health Bestial unit. I just can't see what he's going to be able to do. He can, you know, pick apart as much as he can with the Dark Riders. There's some okay ammo left with some Black Orc Corsairs, but maybe a big fat Soul Steal or two, maybe able to get him back into this game. Be interesting to see. But anyway, Malekith hunting down Bestigors. These guys still 38 troops left, so good value forcing them off. Looks like he's been assisted by some Dark Riders as well. And it looks like this other unit going to come over here and just get some shots in. Probably best to focus down the either non-healing Minotaurs or the Bestigors, of course, because they don't have shields. That is one bonus of the shielded Minotaurs over the Great Weapons. They're a little bit more durable to missile fire. Poor Rizgors are out of control, but they don't know where to go, so they're just kind of circling these poor Black Ark Corsairs who've already been routed. Beastmen going to be taking the high ground here as well, which is, the right pick here. Just slowly move towards the slower moving parts of the Dark Elf army. Try and force him into engagement as soon as possible, rather than letting him kind of hunt down your units. And so these best scores, not much hope for them. But yeah, looks like some Doomfire Warlocks doing some decent job here. Chase down the Destroyers of Track World. Did get 14 kills, but they did really good early on, hunting down some of those Dark Riders up in the high ground. Doomfire Warlocks ain't having none of it, getting a vengeance for their fallen brethren, doing some decent work overall. Looks like in the background, Razorgors still hunting down a shattered unit of Black Ox Corsairs. This is really bad flying Taco, because now Malekith can just fly over here and tear these guys apart when he doesn't have any control over them. But balance power ebbing and flowing a little bit by bit in favour of flying Taco, who does currently outnumber his opponent, and at the same time definitely outclasses him as far as elite troops goes. It's probably going to be falling on top of these Dread Spears and these Black Ark Corsairs, as they don't have the mobility to escape as easily as the rest of the forces. Razorgors as well, looks like some of them are sticking back and chilling, and the others are starting to rampage towards these Doomfire Warlocks, who are going in for the fight, which, you might be able to break these guys with Malekith coming in as well, but at the same time probably going to take a bit of damage in return. And these guys unfortunately just chilling over on the side here, which is a bit unfortunate. Which can happen sometimes with dodgy pathing. Looks like another shot came from Malekith, but didn't do any damage to Morga. In come the Marshals, and they're going to be able to chase down these Black Ark Corsairs. Don't even need to raise their shields, that's how confident they are. We're moving to the side actually, looks like they might be going after a different unit entirely. Or trying to just at least wrap around and flank, while the rest of the forces do start to chase these guys down. And those Razorgors are starting to wave a little bit, but they did some okay damage to Doomfire Warlocks in return, but unfortunate that he can control them. Malekith, though, feasting on their souls where he can. And in come the Centaurs. Looks like they did manage to catch this first unit. I would push them now through to this second unit and allow your rest of your forces to munch on this first one. But every single catch here is going to be huge. So we do have another spell coming down, though. A big Soul Stealer could be really good, but we do have a Breath Attack coming in, trying to do damage to the Butchers of Kalengard where he can. I wonder if that does fire damage or poison damage, because it's noxious breath. Because the fire damage, of course, would be a big bonus against the Butchers and their regeneration. Dark Riders doing some pretty decent damage there to Monitors, but they are starting to roll very low on ammunition. Let's see, just down to 2 volleys left. And then the other unit only down to 9 models, so they're not going to do too much. Dark Riders, triple gold chevron. Did they start with that, or have they gained that through the battle? That is pretty impressive they managed to get that high, if it is indeed just throughout the game. Centaurs now have completely shattered one unit of Black Ark Corsairs. Moving in a little ball here, they're going to be charging into the Doomfire Warlocks. And there's not too much Chosen One can do about this. He can stay in the up in the air as much as possible and try and get those big Soul Seers and try and force all of this into big one engagement, maybe snipe out Morga and so forth. But it's pretty tough. It is pretty tough, but it's quite a nice tactical game overall. Game has slowed down to snail's pace, but that's what you kind of expect. Both players trying to rearrange and get the value where they can. Dark Riders, 1 volley left. The sub unit simply waving just by in the presence of their opponents, and they're down to 4 volleys. So looks like we have another attack coming in here, but once again doing some pretty decent damage to those Bestigals. Maybe trying to force them off in general. And unfortunately, Flying Taco just has to sit here and tank this, really. Not much he can do. Looks like he's going to force on top of his Dread Spears and try and force them off a bit. Splitting his forces slightly, which could be risky in the situation. But again, Dread Spears terrified by the sheer presence. And in come the Butchers, head down. That's an awesome charge animation. And these Dread Spears are gone. They're gone. There's no chance these guys rallying, in my opinion. But once again, Chosen One using this to his advantage. Hops on top of the Razorgor herds. But once again, he's probably going to end up getting pinged in slightly here. A fat Soul Sealer is going to come down. Pull the Butchers out. Oh no, Soul Blight comes in instead. And he is going in for the final fight. Big Gaze of Malice coming in as well. He managed to escape relatively unscathed. He's taking a bit of a pound actually now I say that. But we do have a Soul Stealer come down as well. So all the magic thrown into the bundle here. Desperately trying his best. And this is the best thing he could have done, to be honest. Another Gaze of Malice coming down on top of the Vestigors. But in retaliation, Doomfires have been terrified. Dark Riders are in combat, not where they want to be. Razorgors were first off, but a Chaos Spawn summon. Clutch late game summon has come in here. We're all going to be able to pin in Malekith and do some decent damage. Butchers managed to survive that Soul Stealer. Really nice attempt to there come in the Soul Blight plus the Soul Stealer. So we have another Soul Blight coming in as well. Don't know how he managed to cast that twice so quickly. Vestigors though coming in and pinning the Doomfire Warlocks. I just don't think he has enough punch left in the Dark Elves to carry this, even though it was a really nice attempt. We have a downhill charge as well coming in from the piggies on top of these Doomfire Warlocks who are trying to retreat, who are being terrified off. But that is going to be game. Nice attempt there. Very nice attempt. But unfortunately, not quite enough there. GG though. Great game. Great game. Really interesting pick. These guys were triple gold chevron. That is insane. Nice build going for that skirmish play, trying to pick apart. But that initial rush from Flying Taco with the Razorgors, who are just so fast that can pin troops back quickly. Good work with the Minotaurs as well. 150 kills on the Butchers. Truly earning their name there. The battle was lost early on. Chosen One, fantastic, trying to claw his way back, and nearly did it at the end with the double Soul Blight plus the Soul Stealer. Nearly, but not quite, unfortunately. GG. This could have gone well with meta build. But that was a great game overall, and we are going to be switching now to the map, which name is dread for all casters to say. Schwafshafen, I believe it said. And Flying Taco could take this here. If he wins it, he will win the series and the season in general. So let's pop him up to there. Or Chosen One, drag this back to 2-2, and they can go to a final third game, which should be interesting. Just making sure there's nothing on Discord. Someone has mentioned something. But looks all good. Cool. Hop. We'll let them sort that matchup, but GG indeed. Yes, our same was 2,000 Chaos Spawn, 1,600 Manticores, and 3,200 Cycles. It is disgusting what you can do with those builds, but you do have to put a lot of money into it, and Brave Shallows aren't the tankiest, and they can get sniped out, which, you know, can then lose you a ton of that value. But it is tough. Looks like you guys are having a debate about summons. Summons in general, I think they're needed for some people, but in other, in other things they can be a bit broken. Whoa, stream broke for you for a while. No. Is the stream back? I hope you guys managed to see the battle. I think it's all good on my end. Let me know if everything's all good now. It's like, I'm just gonna reset my phone internet. I'm sure we're all good. Sorry, I can't really see the chat. My phone does this thing where it's connected to the internet, but it doesn't work. Our Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy. Luckily, I've got a LAN cable for the computer. No, and he's being kicked. That's not good. I'll be right back. Chosen One will return A. That's fine. So Taco is picking Coast and banning High Elves and Dowie. No worries. Cool. So let's get chat back up on my phone. Boom. Okay. This stream seems to be working on my phone. Hope it's all good for you. It broke for around 3 minutes or so. At least you know. It came back pretty bad. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that happened. What's up, Erasmus? How's it going, dude? Nice to see you in chat. Hope you're doing all good. Probably a YouTube problem though. Yeah, I think my internet's all fine. Chariots can be pretty crazy units, Shetland, you're right. I'm terrible with them. I get them killed so easily. I do that with my dragons as well. I'll either have a great game of a dragon or terrible and they would get trapped. They're actually pretty glass cannon even though they're a dragon. Make sure Chosen One hasn't messaged me. Looks like we're all good. Wait for him to come back, and this could be the final game. Either this one or will Chosen One manage to level the series and bring it back? Yeah, the High Elf Chariots do kind of suck. So maybe he's just checking out some builds, not sure. I'm just going to make sure he's still online. He's still online. He said he would be right back. Hey, there he goes. He has returned, eh? So we are seeing some Vammer Pirate love here, coming in from Flying Taco. Banning the High Elves, which I think is a really good pick, and banning Dowie. Yeah, both those factions are pretty good against Coast. There's actually one as well where Alphanar can do some decent work as well, sniping out characters and so forth from range. And at the same time, his Moonbow actually gets Depth Guard down to about half health with one shot if it hits correctly. Which, is, one of those things which doesn't always hit. It's a little bit of a risk, which can come in as well with arrows of Kernos and so forth. Elfmar Chariots are just garbage. There's a few units in the game which are unfortunately a bit garbage. Let's see, Chosen One you're going to escape in. to make sure he says who's going. Because they only die if you forget them for like 10 seconds. Yeah, but that's me. My mic has improved heavily though over the years. Or over the years. I don't know if I've been playing for that long. Yeah, probably getting towards a year. Best game I ever had was the one the other day on the King of the Hill. Which I'm going to bring up as much as possible because I managed to beat Zyphos, which... Zyphos far better player than me. 9 times out of 10 would beat me. But it was a super fun game with so much micro. And somehow just about managed to keep together Wood Elves versus High Elves even as well. Of course, a Ryan build. Now I wish this map doesn't allow me my meme build for this matchup. Oh no, that'd have been awesome. A meme skin build. But he's going to go Wood Elves. A nice pick here up against Pirates. I think that's a pretty decent counter. Long range firepower. I actually like the Weight Watcher hero in this one. Because you get the Arrows of Kurnos, if you take a Glade Lady as well, another Arrows of Kurnos, and you can just start nuking down, like, the big artillery pieces for Vampire Count, so it works really well. The big problem is they're not White Lion Chariots. I wish White Lion Chariots were a thing. Surely the next DLC, I think, is going to be Greenskins High Elves. They've got to bring them in. It only makes sense. You could even have a feral unit of the giant White Lions. And the fact you can get the Captain of the Guard, I can't remember his name in campaign, but he can ride a dragon and not a chariot like he should be, is just, needs to be changed. Steam Tank and Luminarch suck. Ah, I got you. They're fantastic. What's up, Romulan Dog? How's it going, bro? I hope you're all good in the herd. I have a clip of Zyphos losing against a new ladder who did not bring cards. So everyone loses, man. Everyone loses. From time to time. It happens to everyone, unfortunately. But he's an incredibly good player, especially with Wood Elves. It's just nasty. But all factions, he's a pretty damn good player. Certainly up there in the higher echelons of people. Yo, PogMap, you have returned. Hope your food was good. You've arrived in the final. This could be the last game if Flying Taco takes it. But again, Chosen One has a pretty good counter into him right here. I'm going to be interested to see what they both do. Maybe Flying Taco even brings a Crab Rush build or something insane. And if Chosen One wins this, we will be going to the 5th and final game, which would be a blind pick as well, which can bring all kinds of madness. Maybe even a mirror match to finish it off. Yes, High Elf Cats DLC, White Lions, Griffin Lord. Yeah, Griffin Lord, that'd be cool. Feral Kitties, I'm 100% with you on this. I think that could be very cool. They're probably going to get to the guy who rides the Griffin, I assume, as the Legendary Lord. And Greenskins, the Grom the Porch, I believe he's called. So fat he has to ride a chariot, which is pretty funny. Has regen and all that good stuff. Which I don't mind. I'll be happily taking him on with some Salamanders. He'll be a large target plus weak to fire. Should be pretty good fun. Isn't there a unit of High Elves which ride Griffins? Doing well, thanks. Nice job with the tourneys. Cheers, man. Good to hear you're doing good. If you ever want to get involved in any of these, by the way, I know you're a very good player yourself. I do have a Discord in the link just down below. And I just advertise on there, first come, first serve type situation for the tournaments and King of the Hills and whatnot. And if you want to get involved, just, yeah, hop in there. But again, no pressure. Ooh. Just have fun. So, we are on this very open map. There's a lot of hills, which is quite nice in general. It allows you to do a lot of defensive formations, but not too many trees, unfortunately. I tend to do maps with a little bit of trees. There's some for a little bit of sneaky stabbings, but for the most part, it is what you see is what you get. So let's go through Flying Taco here. If he wins the entire season, as well as being in the final for the next season as well, which is pretty damn cool. But he did have to qualify for that separately, of course, but we'll get to that later. So, we have a couple units of Scurvy Dogs, looks like 2 in fact, perfect for chasing down Wood Elf skirmishers and so forth. And these guys are so frustrating because they crumble, they don't just rout. Normally you can scare off hounds and so forth, but not these guys. Leadership, we have Count Noctis, makes sense, super tanky. We have a couple of units of Mongols as well. 4, so he's going for these guys again. They will destroy Wood Elf infantry, very squishy to Archer fire with just 30 ammo, but they have Stalk, allowing them to get pretty close. Now, over here, we have a Rotten Leviathan as well. Good to see just the basic Leviathan in action. Pretty horrendous-looking fellow, unfortunately. Very aggressive Squidward. For his main battle line, we do have cheap and cheerful. Or we have the Regiment Round Pirate Deckhand mobs. But for the most part, just cheap and cheerful mobs. Just going to be holding the line, doing the best they can, and protecting these gunners. And we have a ton of gunner mobs in the front line, and some bombers in the back as well. So pretty cool build overall. Let's check out the Wood Elves, going very wide, both people here. This is going to be micro-intensive. In the back, we have some Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, just chilling out. In the front, Dryads pretty good in this matchup as they will tear apart infantry fairly effectively. And they're okay tankiness, not the best. They're not shielded like Eternal Guard, but they won't take too much damage initially. Second line, a ton of Eternal Guard into the sunset. And then on the flanks, we have Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards. Now, these are really, really good unit in my opinion. I use them quite a lot and become a big fan of them recently. They do magic damage, so they'd be great against Sirens and so forth if he did bring any. I believe they fire twice as fast, and they shoot 2 shots at the same time, I think. Yes, can fire 2 arrows at a time, but they're a bit more close range, but they will nuke kind of squish units rather quickly. More Glade Riders with Hagbane tips in the back. I like that pick in case his opponent did Vanguard in the, behind him at any point. Dryads as well, pushing up, and on this hand flank, 2 Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shell Shards as well again. We have a unit of Glade Guard in the centre pocket, and an Ancient Tree Man, who's going to be a bit of a nightmare to deal with, unless he walks into gunnery range, in which case he will be deleted very quickly. But they come with those Earth Bloods, Awaken the Woods, Regrowth, all that good stuff. And the High Elves do push forward. Going to be a good match, pretty interesting. The Mongols are going to be a bit of a nightmare, but Eternal Guard will eventually drag them down. Scurvy Dogs are going to be trying to push on top of these Deepwood Scouts. They might get caught a little bit out of position here, which would be really bad for them. But we do have the Glade Riders coming back as well. And it looks like the Scouts are going to start targeting these guys down, trying to finish them off and force them back fairly effectively here. Some Dryads have been isolated though, probably going to get a rear attack by Scurvy Dogs and a frontal charge by Mongols. So rest in peace Dryads. Looks like they're going to try and buy some time. And in the other distance, more Dryads have started to be pummeled by Mongols, which is really unfortunate. Deepwood Scouts doing some decent damage on this side, and Eternal Guard being pushed forward for protection. But no doubt, Flying Taco is going to be spam clicking to try and break through these guys. And yeah, they're just going to start feasting on these Deepwood Scouts, which is a bit of a disaster here for Chosen One. We do have Glade Riders trying to get over here to support, but it's going to be pretty tough. In the front line, Dryads are pushing forward, trying to shut down these guns. And we do have some Glade Guard as well, doing some okay damage into the gunnery mobs. Ron Leviathan is going to be a bit of a beast in this matchup if he loses all his archer fire. Decent archer fire coming to Scurvy Dogs though, doing some pretty decent work. And the Ancient Treeman as well is probably going to go say hello and have a little word with those fellas. More shots coming in by the Glade Guard, but the big Leviathan getting in there in the front line, stomping on some Dryads. But really nice play here by Chosen One, pulling 2 Mongols out of position. I just get some decent attacks with the Deepwood Scouts. They didn't take too much damage in return. That focus fire and using Glade Riders as a combat unit to pin these guys in, doing great work, and Eternal Guard as well. Now we do have a Invocation of the Heck trying to keep these guys alive, an extended effect one as well. But I think that may have been a bit of a waste. These guys are going to be dead anyway. Really nice play on this flank by Chosen One, peeling these guys off. Other unit doing decent work against Dryads, but at least it's keeping them at bay. Unfortunately, in the back line, though, for him, his Glade Guard have been hunted down by this rotten Leviathan. Eternal Guard chasing that boy where they can. And on the left-hand flank, once again, Deepwood Scouts have been expertly protected here by Chosen One. They do have to deal with one more unit of Mongols, but they did enough damage, pushed off the Hounds as well. So I think the Wood Elves are actually possibly in a bit of a driving seat. Glade Riders being pushed once again in a combat unit. I think they need a combat variety, to be honest, in DLC fairly soon. But Eternal Guard and Glade Riders push into the back line, pulling down gunnery mobs. This other unit as well is slowly running out of morale here. In the front line though, more Eternal Guard starting to struggle a little bit, and these bombers will be very effective to tear them down. The Ancient Treeman though is incredibly healthy, and with so many of the guns going offline, he's going to be a big problem. Nice Awakening Woods in the back line, didn't do decent damage to those zombies, nothing too special. But these bombers doing some great work on top of the Eternal Guard, up to 15 kills. Going to get run over by an Ancient Tree Man now, however. Look at that, the explosion damage. A bit of friendly fire, but you know, that is what pirates are known for, I suppose. Dryads popping into the back line, trying to shut down gunnery mobs where they can, but Noctilus doing his best for a bit of protection. We have a summoned unit of deck hand mobs as well in the back line. So one of the Scurvy Dogs did survive, but they are getting gunned down here, unfortunately, by the Deepwood Scouts, who are pitting them in their place, pitting the dogs down. These guys down, losing health as well now. So these guys will be able to rally, and they have so much ammunition left. And a lot of the fast-moving units for the pirates are slowly being taken offline. There's still 2 units of Mongols, however, in the back line, one of them being focused down now. These guys need to switch and charge them down instantly. There's not much protection left over them. And the Glade on these more Deepwood Scouts are being chased once again by a very healthy Rotten Promethean, who's going to be a bit of a pain to deal with. Count Noctilus as well with his anti-large could do decent work on the Ancient Treeman if he can catch him. Looks like Chosen One notices that he is heading over and decides to move away back up where he can. Bombers doing a fantastic job on the Eternal Guard, but they now are amongst their midst. And oh no, looks like they're being pinned up actually here by the Regiment of Renowns. guys. Yeah, the Tide of Skjold there. Those guys are finally dissipating as well. And there's just Wood Elves everywhere. Looks like the Ancient Tree Man going to come over to try and assist the Rotten Leviathan. Now, the problem of putting deep with Scouts instead of Way Watchers is they have a lot less armor piercing. So they're going to struggle to take this big guy down, but with enough focus fire, they should do a decent job. Mongols are also running over the side. So what I would do, take deep with Scouts on both flanks and just pummel the Mongols. Ignore the Rotten Leviathan. You can outpace it. Take these faster, more threatening troops down. Looks like that is what he's doing. Glade Riders, nice focus fire. Got them completely surrounded. Those guys probably not even going to be able to reach combat here. Very close game overall. The Flying Taco fighting back after some initial losses. Eternal Guard getting decimated in the centre pocket. These Gunnery Mob Bombers really holding it down, up to 71 kills. But again, on this flank, Deepwood Scouts have managed to be protected expertly here by Chosen One, and they are pummeling these Gunnery Mobs and doing decent damage to the Mongols as well. Now, is there anything left in reserve coming back to the battlefield? Doesn't look like it. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. And finally, Deepwood Scouts and the Glade Guard are going to focus down these bombers who did so much work decimating Eternal Guard. And even though the Wood Elves have lost a lot of their units which can protect, the Vampire Pirates are looking very thin on the ground, and they're just not going to have enough troops to chase down all the Deepwood Scouts at once. And they've still got okay ammo left on a lot of the units. These guys, of course, do go through ammo twice as quick as the normal variety. But literally, snipe out the Mongols, surround the Rotten Leviathan, and Canoclus, and you'll be fine, I think, for the Wood Elves. Nice summon in the back, though, popping on top of the Deepwood Scouts. But once again, noticed by Chosen One, and a really nice Away from the Woods coming down, doing some great damage trying to force those guys off. The Royal Leviathan doesn't want to fight the Ancient Tree Man alone. He has to pop the Scroll of Shielding as well. This Leviathan needs to team up with Noculus, bring in his anti-large to try and pin in and do damage to Ancient Tree Man, but he's such a tanky boy himself anyway. Nice Wraith Storm coming in, doing some okay damage, but yeah, just going to escape, bring in Noculus into the fray as well. Ancient Tree Man simply going to turn around and walk away, which is probably the best bet here. Mongols try their best, up to 64 kills, not bad. They've decimated the Dryads and so forth, but once again, pinned in by Archfire is a bit of a problem. And you can see the Wood Elves did win this huge engagement over on this flank. We have a lot of ammunition left on these guys as well, and they managed to clear the back line as well. It's tough. Balance power dead even though, but I think that is slightly over-exaggerated, probably because just how healthy the Leviathan and Noculus is. The Ancient Tree Man fighting here though, needs to get out and try and escape, but he's not very fast. But he gets pushed to the ground as well. So bit of a new dodgy video here as the Rotten Leviathan goes into the back there. Tree Man. The Tree Man needs to escape here. He is in big, big trouble. We do have constant fire coming all around. Deepwood Scouts are starting to run a little bit low on ammunition. With some nice summons coming by Taco as well, dragging this game back. And it's going to be tough. Ancient Tree Man is completely stuck here. These guys need to start taking down those Mongols and finish off the units completely. And the Leviathan. Tree Man doing a decent job though. Pop the Power Stone and is getting healing as well from himself. Dryads do completely shatter though, and Eternal Guard shatter. A lot of shattering going on for the Wood Elves. Deepwood Scouts just get into combat here if you're out of ammunition on top of these Pirate Gunnery Mobs. And a lot of the units are now running very low on bullets. There's a bit more of a healthy core over on this flank, however. Tree Man tanking like the good boy he is. Mongol slowly starting to go down to 1,300 health. Bottom Leviathan though, 4,000 health, getting held up by Invocation of the Heck as well. Tree Man trying his best to hold the line. We do have these summoned gunnery mobs as well, getting decent shots into the rear of the Ancient Tree Man. And the problem is you don't want to waste ammunition on these guys because they're summoned and they will disappear, but at the same time, they're doing so much work. Mongols do get on top of the Eternal Guard. They are each at minus 41, so it's not going too good for them. But they're getting the damage in where they can. Another nice Wraith Storm down the Ancient Tree Man, who has popped a regrowth on himself, as the Deepwood Scouts get one last volley up on the hill before going to have to charge into combat. These ones are charging in as well now. So, Deepwood Scouts have ammo here, more here, and some Glade Guard as well, finishing off the Mongols. But it's getting pretty low. Balance power is in fact in favour of the Vampires now, but that one Leviathan, if he goes down, and when the summon goes, I think that is going to be game. Saying ready and good luck and all that good stuff. So, the Leviathan is going down. Nice healing by the Ancient Tree Man has kept him in this fight. Pulling down that boy with some focus fire as well. Then it'll be Noculus versus the Warrior. Depends how many summons he has left if he can pull this through, I think. The Deepwood Scouts have been revealed, going to be charged down to combat, and down the mighty Leviathan goes. Ancient Tree Man doing good work here, and he's simply going to be falling back, allowing the Dryads to surround Count Noculus and pin him in with Archifire, but they're so low on ammunition. One or two summons here really could turn us around. Ancient Tree Man, probably it's best to cycle charge him into Noculus, knock him down, do some damage where you can. So he's getting pinned up on the corpse at the moment of the Leviathan, but in come the Cav, the Rohan charge with just 9 Glade Riders coming in here. And, you know, that'll do some okay damage, I suppose, on charge, maybe. The Canoculus is scary tanking. You can see how powerful he is. Balance power is still even, in fact, slightly in his favour even though he simply has 1 unit left. But I feel like he will probably slowly get dragged down. He's used a ton of winds of magic already. A couple of shots coming in there, doing a bit of friendly fire, but at the same time doing a decent amount. And as soon as he starts losing health, his morale is certainly going to get low. As you can see, leadership is starting to tank pretty heavily as well, which of course will make him lose health, and it's just a snowball effect, unfortunately for him. But maybe Noctilus versus the World can hold. Remember when he first came out, before he got nerfed, he was even more tanky, and you could often see this kind of battle form and Noctilus win. Like, he would just be the solo warrior doing his best. But he just gets shoved to the ground there by the treeman, who then saunters away there, which is not good for Noctilus, and now he's going to be getting hit by Eternal Guard and so forth as he does climb back up. Still, game says even. Probably pull a few of his units out here and just stop them from being tired, heal them up, rest them up before going into combat once more. Ancient Treeman can get in here and do some decent work if he needs to, but at the moment things are looking pretty good. He is debilitating Earth a bit, apparently. Does pop an Arcane Conduit though, so we will see either a summon again, most likely, which could be pretty useful, used at the right time, maybe able to break a few units if they commit to the fray. But yeah, he's simply going to trickle in troops, moving them out here. They're very tired, but it doesn't matter. They're simply going to heal up here. Nice surround, it's like sending units into duel, and he's getting that last shot of arrow fire in, doing some decent damage overall onto Noctilus. So these guys have 1 volley left as well. 1 volley and no volleys left with this unit. Do you think he can do it, guys? Do you think Noctilus can carry? Let's see. Let's see indeed. So, Noctilus going to struggle a little bit, getting pushed to the ground here. Which is just going to happen over and over again. Just going to constantly get slug charged by the rest of his troops and actually do the damage. And I guess the Ancient Chairman as well can probably try and save up from spells. Get a bit of nice healing on would be pretty good, especially on himself. And Noctilus slowly getting dragged here. But yeah. Good battle overall. Really nice early pressure coming from the Wood Elves. Bit of a kind of reversal what happened last game. Right, Beastman came with that massive swarm and did so much damage early on. This time the Wood Elves came in and really nice backline protection by Chosen One. Managed to tank 2 units of Mongols out the gate and slowly work on the rest of the army. But it looks like we are getting a fat regrowth, I assume, coming down on the Ancient Treeman. There we go. Nice big regrowth. Going to allow him to move into combat and start dealing with Noctilus, who has managed to shatter 2 units here, Glade Guard and Eternal Guard, and that could cause a chain rout. Deepwood Scouts as well starting to struggle. And this is pretty close. I think like the Ancient Treeman needs to get in here and actually hold his ground and fight for a little while. Do some serious damage and push his health down, because otherwise this is going to happen. He's getting so many routes coming in, which is not what you want to see. So I would literally probably charge in all my units, go for a big old blob, push an Ancient Treeman as well, try and break the leadership of Noctilus, and from there he will debilitate. Looks like we have 1 volley left over here, do we? No, ammunition 0. Why do they still have a little bar? I see you. Oh, 1 or 2 of them had a shot left, by the looks of it. Noctilus can see he's relatively close to his healing cap as well, but he's starting to go down 2,000. Oh, he's going up in health. Oh, Arcane Conduit is popped once again. Yeah, you need to take him out before he gets any invocations in the heck, otherwise this causes so many problems. I think you need to just chuck all your units in. It looks like they're tired, so they're fairly well rested. These guys are fresh. Otherwise we're going to keep getting chain routes and forces pushed off here. Infantry man, you need to stand with your homies. Stand the ground and fight. Here he comes. I'm trying to get that cycle charge, but he's not been able to kind of break Noctilus' defense, particularly of any big hits. There we go. Coming with a big old slap that forced him to the ground here. Noctilus trying his best here. He is trying. Oh, looks like the guys have decided to go on a full speed up, which is I'm very thankful for. But in comes a summon with Pirate Deck Hand mobs. Very clutch play there indeed. Infantryman falling out, falling back. I would keep him in. I would keep him in. Fight Noctilus. Bring him down. Yes, Noctilus is anti-large, but it takes him forever to take down an Ancient Treeman, and it really supports the rest of his troops. Going to get a rear attack here by the Deepwood Scouts, I assume. Get Noctilus in here as well, and try and finish these guys down. Yeah, pop it in there. Do your work, my friend. Do your work. Hunt him down. Looks like they have gone for the big blob fight though. Balance of power is now in favour of the Wood Elves, which will severely help them. If they surround Noctilus, his leadership will go down quite heftily, and he may in fact break. Which will be a bit of a disaster. And as you can see, the zombie Pirate Deck Hand mobs are -6 on leadership, so they're losing health quite quickly. And I think once they're gone, literally just surround him. Put him down. I understand the kind of trepidation about kind of going in. You don't want to commit, especially when it's such a key game, because if Chosen One loses this, Flying Tico will in fact win the series. But, you know, I reckon he's got enough about him to take down Noctilus. Oculus here, surely. I am no expert though, again, on vampires. I don't know how powerful an Oculus is, but I feel like, yes, he's anti-large, but a tree man is a thick boy. 4,500 health, getting some serious work here. And it looks like the summon has finally been destroyed. And Oculus staring up against the beast. Is getting some decent attacks in now, however. Once again, taking a few himself. And Arcane Conduit popped down again, but he is now in critical binding. His leadership is broken, and this is what I'm talking about. Look how quickly his health will start to drop now. Tunnel Guards are falling back. No deal with scouts, just chilling in combat. Critical binding, faster and stronger enemies nearby, apparently. Infantry Man is taking a little bit of work over, but he's still relatively healthy. He's probably going to be healing up soon with another regrowth, you would assume. Captain Octopus very close to his healing cap, and once again, the guys decide to speed up, which I praise them for massively, and down goes Noctilus, which is what I would expect to happen. This is a little bit, it was a little bit ridiculous, but he did finally go down, and look at the kills, 144 and 110 on these Deepwood Scouts, fantastic value overall, managed to protect that backline against a ton of pressure from the Mongols and so forth. But overall, really fun battle, obviously dragged at the end there, but it happens when people, of course, going for the win. This reminds me of Vampire Release, yeah, GG. Final round it is. So this is pretty damn exciting though. The final round of the season finale is going all the way, so blind picks will be sent to me. But beforehand, let's update the... would you be able to help me figure out? Cool. So yeah, I've seen your message, Skink, if you are watching, and I will try and help you out in a little bit. But for now, we're going to update the scoreboard to all here. And let's pop back in. Blind picks. And we will be playing on Kelp and Coal Dust. Kelp is the map. I knew there'd be summons at some point. Yeah, he was waiting for those summons. They then got the full surround, broke their leadership, and forced them down. Turn-based game. Turn 1, kill the army. Turn 2, kill Noctilus. Pretty much. It was much better on much worse on release though. What's up, Grombrindle? How's the game, my dude? You're literally here for the final game of the stream. The final game. So this is Season 2 of Death Before Dishonour. Season 3 is already underway. We've come back for the finals. With the previous 4 champions scrapping it out. And it's gone all the way in this final game here. Let's see. Cool. Chosen one is typing to me, so he is doing his random pick. Make sure they've not messaged me on Discord. Nope, just waiting for them now. Cool. Should be all good. I believe some griffins do live in High Elf as well. There's definitely a character who can ride as a griffin. I remember the model. Oh, looks like someone sent me... Nice. So, Chosen One has sent me his blind pick. And wait on Mr. Taco, or he might have sent it to me in Discord. He did indeed. Oh, okay. So, Chosen One predicted something, but he was actually wrong with his prediction. So, we have them for him. Cool. So we have Skaven versus High Elf. Should be pretty damn cool. Taco, go win, please. Hello, Banana. Representing your food brethren, I see. I'm sure Taco will appreciate the sport. So Taco is Skaven and Chosen One is High Elf. Pretty interesting matchup. High Elves, lots of cheap and cheerful archer fire, which does decent work, of course, up against the lightly armoured Skaven and so forth. But this is pretty tit for tat. I feel like both have decent tools at their disposal to win this matchup. That was smart. Chosen One. Alright, to update the scoreboard, I believe I did. Yes. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Smart pick indeed by Flying Taco. Especially now he knows the Wood Elves are no longer a factor. I feel like Wood Elves can do bits against Skaven. Of course, Skaven can swarm, but in the hands of someone like Chosen One, who's a very good Wood Elf player, they certainly have the tools to pick apart Skaven forces. We'll wait and see. Who is your money on, though? Obviously, Banana, representing his food brethren, Flying Taco. But Chosen One likes to do it the hard way. He qualified for Season 3's final, again 3-2 after going 2-1 in the semis. So he likes the long-running games. He has the endurance. Go, go, Chosen One! What's up, Daniel? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Yes, yes, bring it to me. I know who you're going to be rooting for here. If you guys are enjoying, this is one of your last chances to spam that thumbs up button. Super helps out the channel, and hit that subscribe as well if you like this type of content. And of course, if you want to get involved in any of this stuff in the future, down in the description below, I do have my Discord. You can hop in there, join up, and get a little heads up when all my tournaments and so forth being played. And it's just a good group of people to hang around with. And of course, Patreon and all that kind of rubbish down in the description as well. I thought I played 2 Kings low weight. I didn't. Oh! That would have been pretty good. High Elves, I like High Elves into Tomb Kings. I think they have a ton of good tools. And it looks like Flying Taco thought he'd already played them, so... yeah, out-fought himself into a victory, I suppose. And not getting countered. I'm sure Taco go for a melee rush build. He is incredibly good for them. He is very good at the old rush build. We saw that earlier with the Beastmen. It's just so hard. Like, even if you're good at micro, he's attacking you on so many different points at the same time that you're going to lose something. It's just trying to nullify kind of the damage output, I suppose, and then kind of regroup and strike back. Good, good. But yeah, Skaven rush build could work pretty well up against the High Elves. I expect probably 1 or 2 Flamespire Phoenixes coming by Chosen One. Rattling Gunners will tear them apart, but apart from that, they're relatively tanky. Big, nasty Terror Causers, drop fire poops, what's not to love. I'm going to grab a bit of a drink to keep me going. As we been a pretty long stream. I think we started at 6:30, and it's come up to 10 now. Jesus, been a long stream. But been awesome. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in and supporting as always. Oh, we think Chosen One needs to go for the rush. Oh no, you think... okay, you think Taco's going to go for the rush, and if Chosen One realises that, he can counter it. Nice, nice. All good stuff. So, let these guys pick their builds. Sure, a lot of thought is going into it. There's quite a lot riding on this. The Season Championship. Season 1 was, of course, won by Zach B. Zane back in the day, quite a few months ago now. And then... Chosen One and Flying Taco, who have both qualified for Season 3 final as well, so this could end up repeating. A-Move Hacker as well has a spot, and there's 1 spot left open, which will probably be filled next week. We'll be hosting the Death Before Dishonour episode number 4 of Season 3, of course, which should be some good fun. Good fun indeed. I feel like you're just trying to confuse me, Aristodamos. I feel like you're saying stuff just to troll me at this point. Art of War, though, know your opponent, indeed. That can really help out. Of course, all those guys have played in tournaments before up against each other and so forth, so it's cool. Hopefully Taco won't troll. He is a member of the Extreme Meme team. He doesn't troll, he memes, and he memes hard. It can work pretty well, though. Yeah, if he goes Archer build, you can probably lose. I mean, Archer build works so good against Skaven, but as you said, if Flying Taco does go for the rush, he'll get run over pretty damn quickly. But there's a few tools. You can maybe go for a mix and match, a bit of both. Go for some heavy cav as well to protect the ranged troops, and just keep them well out of harm's way of those long-range firepower. Now, on this map, there's quite a lot of interesting stuff you can do. There's a lot of trees on this left-hand flank, so you can approach with more elite troops through here. At the same time, you can set up firing ranges on these cliff edges, because they're unpassable terrain up, and try and get people into some choke points. And there's a lot of Vanguard options as well behind. So maybe we see a Shadow Warrior build, perhaps, question mark. They would do pretty good. Looks like Flying Taco is ready. I'm excited. Here's the final game. For once in my life, I am not trolling you. The final game of the season. It's been an awesome season. It's gone on for a long time. And season 3 is nearly over as well, just 2 episodes of that left. So sorry if it's a bit confusing, we kind of did both seasons at the same time, but it's all good. You just get to see Torment play, which is always fun. I chose one, patiently designing his build here. I probably would have gone Archer build as well, not actually taking into consideration the player. So that's some really good kind of advice, I suppose, for newer players. If you know someone like Flame Taco who is known for rush builds, then you need to kind of counter build that. But at the same time, we saw this a lot with Lotus Moon in ECLs and so forth. People know he's very good at skirmishing, so they try and counter that, and then he comes in with a Death Star, like out of nowhere, and like, oh god, and the mind games really start to come in, which happens a lot at the top, I feel, because a lot of the top players end up playing each other kind of over and over again in a lot of these competitions and so forth. Should be good. Ooh. Let's have a little drink. And yeah, as always, if you guys want to ask any questions, now is the perfect time. Whilst we're in this little bit of a break between the two players. It will be all good. Just double check I don't have any questions for them on Discord. Cool. Looks like people are talking on my Discord, but it's all good. I'll reply to them after the stream's done. Looks like people are talking about writing books, which is pretty cool. Chosen one is playing mind games to make Taco nervous. Which is kind of funny. Yeah, I suppose trying to get into your opponent's mind, throw them off, might always take a long time. There may be some truth to that, but he's probably just signing his army. Chosen one does tend to take a little while to build his forces, but that's because they normally end up being pretty well put together. But once again, though, Flying Taco did click in and click out, so maybe he's has panicked and he's rearranging his forces, but who knows? No cognitive bias commentary here. Oh, looks like they're both good to go. I am only biased to anyone who picks Lizardmen. And of course Aristodemus. If he plays, I don't even talk about the other player. I'm just like, oh, here we have Aristodemus' army, and we're not going to bother looking at the next one. We're just going to stare with little heart doggy eyes at the build for the whole time. But apart from him, we're completely unbiased. Cool. Waiting for the players to load in here. As previously stated, you do have these two raised kind of cliff edges here. Not really cliff, just more of a hill. But it is impassable terrain, so you often see a lot of people on this side camping up top here with a range build, and it looks like Skaven may not have gone for a full rush build. They haven't. Very interesting. So the mind games are real. We instead have some long range utility. We have a warp lightning cannon as well as Natty Bobu sharpshooters here. We have a Gracier of Plague up on top of his little screaming bell here. Look at that guy living his best life, screaming on top of that thing. Arcane Conduit, Vermintide, Pestilent Breath, the dreaded 13th spell would be very cool if we get to see that in action. So pretty nice pick overall. Now for his main force with a mixture of Issued Triads, very good utility overall for those guys. Then we just have Clan Rats into the sunset, which is what you expect, cheap and cheerful, and all that good stuff though. So many of them. We also have a little bit of a motorbike core here, going for the full Sun's Anarchy effect. We have 2 units of Doomflays plus a Doom Wheel, so there's a little bit of a rush element as well. So a bit of a mix and match, I quite like this. We have Poisoned Wind Mortars as well, and he is taking this disgusting high ground position up here, which it is going to force Chosen One to push in, but it looks like he's prepared for that. What is a force split into 2. But very nice build overall, going to be pretty damn tough for the High Elves to break into. Now for High Elves themselves, they have Teclis on foot. Oh no, on his horse. Okay, I thought he was standing up. On foot. Going to bring a load of utility. Very powerful wizard, of course. Bound Fire Convocation, of course, has his potion. You need to take that ability, in my opinion. Regrowth, Flock of Doom, and Enfeebling Foe. So a nice mixed kit there. We have 3 Eagle Claw boat throwers, going to be very good at taking out that Warp Lightning cannon. However, Natty Bobu sharpshooters are of course invisible, but will they have enough ammo to take out all 3? Probably not. So nice pick here as well, both players going a little defensive. Then we have a ton of spearmen mixed in with a couple of units of white lines of chase, just for a little bit of added punch in that centre pocket as well. And then we have, looks like 2 basic units of archers, cheap and cheerful, but they do what they need to do. We have a noble on a chariot here, going to be running down Skaven very effectively, looking pretty cool with his halberd here. And in the back we have silver helms, a noble on horseback as well, and it looks like that may be it. That may be it for his force, apart from, of course, the Flameside Phoenix, which we were expecting up in the sky here. So Majestic Beast does have a chance of regrowth and can drop fire poos upon the opponent. Good luck, have fun by both players there, good to see. Now, Skaven are going to overload this flank rather quickly, I'd assume. Looks like they're going to push down. Probably going to realise 3 Eagle boat throws not a fun time for anyone. So they're going to push through and try and advance up here. And the High Elves are really going to have to reposition, I believe. Get all their forces back here. We're just going to force everything to move, which would be a bit of a disaster. Now, Poisoned Wind Mortars, unfortunately, are going over after the Eagle instead of the Archers. We need to start targeting them instead, as these basically do no damage to the Eagle whatsoever. They're just not going to be able to hit him. Some nice early shots coming in. It looks like straight away, Natty Bobu sharpshooters are going to start targeting down the Eagle Claw bolt throw, which is a good choice. Skaven are starting to push out as well, but the Bobu sharpshooters have actually been spotted by the Eagle. Oh, fantastic play by Chosen One. The Eagle's going to be coming in, spying out the sharpshooters, and that will allow the Eagle Claw bolt throwers to take them apart. He needs to keep this Eagle alive and active as long as possible to force the Skaven to come to him, and I feel like we're going to have a pretty long and grindy start here, as both players do not want to push forward and commit. Looks like the other Eagle Claw bolt throwers are going after the Warp Lightning cannons, getting some great value, already destroying one of the siege pieces straight away. These guys are going to be fleeing for the trees and trying to escape, and up come the Poison Wind Mortars, so the Skaven are going to have to advance slightly here. The sharpshooters going off the Flameside Phoenix once again, though, are being advanced with the rest of their forces, and in comes the crew here of Doomflayers and the mighty Doomwheel, but unfortunately, oh no, they are going to come through. I mean, these guys are braced, but at the same time, they are lowly spearmen, and these guys are going to charge in. You can see blood flying everywhere, and they're not going to have a fun day. They are isolated on their own. Noble going to be coming in though. That's a really nice pick. These guys need to get out here, do some decent cycle charging, but the spearmen are going down here. Archfight into Skaven slaves. But once again, Natty Bobu sharpshooters getting torn apart here by the constant Eagle Claw bolt thrower fire and this Phoenix going in for those charges, trying to break those guys off, and then he will definitely have the range advantage. Flying Tackle once again pops on top of the Warp Lightning cannon now that the focus is over here. A little bit of lag unfortunately, but looks like it is subsiding for the most part. And unfortunately, Doomflayers have been caught a little bit by the Noble and Techless. They need to scoot their boot out of there as much as possible and save it for the late game. Now, over on this hand flank, the Noble on Chad has managed to catch the Poison Wind Mortars isolated. Once again, if these issue triads can get in here, maybe put their dual cannons down behind to pin him in place, this could turn into a very good situation for Flying Tackle, who's desperate at the moment, trying to counterplay Chosen One, who has got the upper hand so far. But yeah, that Noble getting pinned in here. But looks like he's noticed that and has managed to escape relatively quickly. And really nice play though. It looks like the Mortars are getting some great work on top of these Spearmen and White Lines. Fortunately, the lag does seem to keep coming back, but for the most part, it seems to be okay. Skaven pushing quite heavily on this right-hand flank. Grace has even taken some damage, and those sharpshooters, it's hard. It's really going to be hard to get value out of them. And it looks like all of the Eagle bolt throwers are very healthy and active, but they have been shooting all of their shots into just a couple of units, which may allow units like the Grey Seers and the Doomwheel and so forth to get really good value elsewhere on the battlefield. And this front line really going to start to struggle here from Chosen One as Doomflies do just run in. Got the Doomwheel as well, just trouncing these Spearmen here. Even the White Lines are starting to struggle up against the Ishig Triads, and once that line is broken, all these Eagle bolt throws become pointless. They just don't have enough to defend them. So it's interesting. The line is thin, but will the line hold? Flameside Phoenix doing decent damage, going to chase off the sharpshooters where it can. The Warp Lightning Cannon doesn't have any kills, but again has soaked up so much missile pressure, allowing the more melee focused units to start running over a lot of the cheap and cheerful Spearmen and so forth. So in the back line, we do have Techless trying his best to hunt down the Doomwheel, but at the same time, he's not going to enjoy it if they turn around and shoot. But he's just trying to buy time for allowing both the Nobles to come in and try and isolate and beat those guys to death. Archers, once again, trying their best as well, but oh, this Skaven is having such a good time here. Rolling top of his Doomwheel, cackling there, gives a little laugh, as he does start to run over these poor fellas here. Well, the swarms of Skaven starting to arise here, kind of a little bit of a drip effect, I suppose, of kind of coming in drips and drabs, not what they want, but it has allowed them to get some nice surround here. As you see, Clan Rat's being used to just pull around. Unholy Clamour as well, giving everyone a plus leadership and vigour, which is good to see. And the Bolt Throws are slowly being taken down though, but the Grace here. Oh, we do have the Fiery Convocation popped up here, and it's a swing and a miss. No! That is so unfortunate. These Skaven slaves have managed to push forward onto the white lines, and it's a little bit of a miss, probably anticipating that they would fall back. Flamesire Phoenix going to be doing some great clean-up job in the back line, taking rid of these Poison Wind Mortars, who only got 2 kills. Although it looks like the Warp Lightning Cannon is still back online, getting some decent shots into those nobles. Oh, the damage there, huge work. And Storm them with Hellbird, a nice summon here, going to be trying to hunt those guys down. Looks like a Flock of Doom to go down somewhere as well. So the High Elves backline has been completely destroyed here, which is unfortunate. Teclis going toe-to-toe with Doom Worlds and so forth, doing a decent job. The High Elves are starting to rally in the back line with some archers and so forth, but all the Bolt Throws are really starting to struggle here and get surrounded. And I think... oh, I don't know. It's so hard to call this. 2 nobles left alive, though. It's going to be a big problem, especially for this Grace here. Trying to protect him and keep him alive will be a struggle. And the Flamesire Phoenix is full health, so I think the High Elves did enough damage in the early game to really put themselves in the driving seat here. Even though really nice fight back by Flying Taco, who has managed to get most of the artillery pieces offline and surrounded. We do have a big old Flock of Doom coming in here, doing its little best. Although Teclis getting gooned out here, very low on health. I don't know if he's popped his potion already. Grace here trying to go toe-to-toe with Flamesire Phoenix, not going to go well, but Teclis is terrified. If he can break Teclis here and kill him, chase him off the field, this game flips on its head. And the balance power with all that damage on Teclis actually swings in favour of the Skaven, but it looks like he's going to manage to escape. Needs to get after him, and he has rallied, in fact, as well. A lot of these Skaven units need to get involved. We have rallying units all over the field. Poison Wind Mortars have come back to start to shoot. We have some rally ones in the trees as well, but they need to get in here as quick as possible, because if the Gracer gets sniped and all these key units down by the nobles, then it's kind of game over, right? So he needs to get them in here as early as possible. Really nice summon here, blocking in the noble chat, but he just rides for it. He don't care. He's not scared of those little old clan rats, and he's constantly chasing this Gracer, doing some really decent work, and so are the archers. Flamesire Phoenix on the hunt. I feel like this could be the end for him. Really nice attempt here to snipe out Teclis and spin the game on its head. But it's going to be rough. White lines have broken out, and these archers are going to be shut down. In the background as well, nice play. Using some just cheap and cheerful clan rats to chase down archers and force them off the battlefield. Balance power, though, in favour of the Skaven at this point. But their lord is so low. Teclis as well has managed to heal up with a nice regrowth. Flamesire Phoenix is now surrounded by Ishig Triads, the one engagement he does not want to be in. Same with this noble. Get them out of here. Literally the one unit he doesn't want to engage in is Ishig Triads with their nice anti-large and weeping blades. Grace here deciding to hold the line and fight here. Big Fiery Convocation coming in, however, may in fact be the thing to finish off Grace here. Down to 67 health, down to 56. Comes in here, misses most of the troops for the main part. But the Grace here unlikely to rally with 56 troops left. Does have a little bit of a sniper attempt here. Doom will coming in here with some summoned clowns trying to finish off Teclis, but he's healed a ton. I don't know if they've got enough to kill all these leaders. There's so much Skaven literally dominating the field now, but there's a relatively healthy noble who's just going to run over and assassinate this Warp Lightning Cannon. Teclis is pretty healthy and fast, which is the main point. This other noble, though, pretty low. Doom will chasing him down, but the Flamesire Phoenix is going to be able to isolate it and do some real decent work to it. Warp Lightning Cannon going high and wide. Can these Skaven rally? They have no leadership left, which is my main concern for them. And of course, the Flamesire Phoenix does cause terror. He may just end up constantly terrorizing these guys. Ishig Triads, though, have somehow managed to caught this Phoenix. Chosen One needs to keep this guy away. Nice warp line attack as well, doing some decent damage. This is so close. This is so close. It is so hard to tell who's going to win. But the Noble, he has found the Warp Lightning Cannon crew, which is really good play here. But does he turn? No, he's still going for him. He'll be able to deal with this crew fairly effectively here. The Mortar doesn't really have any good targets left. Maybe just try and get the Silver Helms off the battlefield, I suppose. But some archers did break there and start to run away. No lag, please work. Please work. This is far too close to call. It's been such a good game and series overall from both these players. We do not want this to crash. Looks like we're all good. Teclis slow motion running. Looks like they're going to try and rally to the Noble here. Finish off these Poison Wind Mortars as well. Who are trying to, finish off White Lions themselves. Looks like the Warp Lightning Cannon crew have decided to run for it. Nope, they're going to 360 no scope to this Noble, doing some decent damage there. And yeah, those mortars doing a decent job, forcing off the white lines who are starting to rout now. There's another unit coming back, so if they can get some shots into them, that'd be good. But Flamesfire Phoenix has found them. Now, this could come down to if the Flamesfire Phoenix gets a healing proc. So it has a, I believe, 50% chance. Yeah, 50% chance to get a ridiculous amount of hit points, comes back from the death. If he does get that, I think it's game over. Nothing to take down, but without that, he may get dragged down by Ishig Triads and so forth. Looks like some Skaven slaves have rallied here in the trees. And it's going pretty close so far. So Warp Lightning Cannon Crew still somehow fighting and trying to get shots in on this noble who keeps trotting around the crew each time to avoid them. But in come the Silver Helms, and yeah, those guys are done for completely. But really nice value in the end from the Warp Lightning Cannon, even though it's really struggled initially. So Skaven could fall into the trees here, which gives them a bonus against all these Cav forces and the big Phoenix, which is now just taking shots from the Doomwheel. But looks like that has run out of ammunition as well. Now, Clan Rats, nice, well, worthwhile sacrifice here, chasing off the archers, but the Flamesfire Phoenix is probably going to pop over there and try and finish them off. Looks like Firepoos are trying to decimate the Ishig Triads. He's realised that they are the kind of biggest threat left on the battlefield, as they can deal decent damage to literally everything that is left apart from those white lines over there. But they do fine as well. So it's going to be close. Flamesfire Phoenix trying to get in those fire pips where he can. Ishig Triads are going to be running for the trees. Most of the Skaven forces are going to be moving up here and then wrapping around. It looks like Silverhelm's just chasing off the Poison Wind Mortars here. Only a couple of these guys left, just two. Just two, and down they go, unfortunately. They're scurrying so fast. That's because he's getting pushed by the Cav. They have some really weird animations when they get caught up and stuff, but he's pushing him really quickly, trying to help him survive there. Those guys do completely shatter, so the final engagement, the final battle of Ultimate Destiny, will soon be underway. Skaven slaves just chin. No leadership for the Skaven. It could be really key though. And of course we have the massive healing that's going to come in from Teclis. Does have his potion popped right now, and of course he has so much magic he could even pop a regrowth on the Flamesfire Phoenix, which could finish this. Balance of power heavily in favour of the High Elves. I think literally losing that the Gracer really is ended up costing Flying Taco here. But he's going in. He's going deep. Looks like the nobles have all been healed up as well. Oh, did the chariot one die completely? Some white lines there on the side. Yeah, it looks like the chariot one did in fact end up going down. We have a full health noble, a Flamesfire Phoenix which could heal, and a pretty much full health Teclis is going to make this a bit of a struggle, I think, for the Skaven. They do have one unit as well somewhere, hiding in the trees. We have one unit of Clan Rat Spit, which has been forgotten, unfortunately. When they come, it looks like the Silver Helms slowly will get dragged down. Teclis as well. They need to kind of snipe him, but it's going to be so tough. Doom will going to be rolling in, kind of leading the charge. Ishig Triads forcing away that noble. But, oh, Flamesfire Phoenix teasing and charging, and he has landed now into the Clan Rats. Ishig Triads going to be charging in here, and he needs to get up in the air, otherwise he's going to take a ton of damage. And in they come, Doom will let everything in, and it looks like though we do have a mighty flock of Doom, so there's a little bit of a bait there, pulling in all the Skaven forces. I think he had to do it anyway, though. I think he had to try and tank it and beat down the Flamesfire Phoenix, but we're getting a regrowth as well. That is going to finish off the game. GG, well played to both these players. That was insane, that best of 5. Chose one on the back foot twice, I believe he came back from being one down, and claims victory. That was so good. That was incredible, honestly. GG's to both players. Like, Chosen One got the better of the early engagement, but Flying Taco fought back into that game so well and nearly broke Teclis. He terrified him. If he had a unit that chased Teclis off the field, that game was over. You lose all the heals, you lose the leadership, the Doom will start running rampant, and the Gracier as well will be a lot more harder to snipe. So, nice play, bringing him back there, and just not having anything fast enough to chase him down, but what a set of games. Let's see what they're saying. I have no idea what I'm doing with Skaven. Wanted, but you kept. Yeah, Taco said he would have picked Tomb Kings, but he thought he'd already played them. But GG's all round. That was a great series. That was really good. What a way to end the season as well. The Council is disappointed. Hope the Seer died in battle for his foolhardy mistakes. He did, in fact, unfortunately pay the price. Well played to all. special shout out to Chosen One, who is this season's winner. Oh, Flying Taco, thanks for the toy duck. No worries, my dude. He is off to dinner. Hopefully it is going to make some food. I need to go grab some food, actually, after this. Ooh, I need to get around before the shop closes as well. So any questions, feel free to load them up now, as I will be off in 5 minutes. So Chosen One is this season's winner. Let's upload him there. He joins the high ranks of Zach B. Sane, who is Season 1's winner. And Chosen One and Flying Tackle will both have a chance in Season 3. So we have done the first 3 qualifiers for that. A-Move Hacker won the first one, then Flying Tackle and Chosen One. And there's 1 spot left. If you want to get involved in that, hit me up on Discord. And that will be happening next week before we do, again, of course, the finals. You basically won the last one. I was lucky I have no single entities. So I can run the RT in range and kill him before last stand. Either way, well played, dude. Oh, looks like he has bounced, but no worries. He went the full distance there, getting 2-1 and then 3-2, which is pretty damn insane. So anyways, last questions, please do hit me up now. I'll have a quick little look through chat and say peace, peace. Let's have a little look what I missed. Thanks for casting. No worries, Shetland. Good to see you here. Thank you for supporting. And thank you guys for all tuning in. It really does make a difference. And it's nice to see how much the channel has grown as well over the last couple of months and so forth. And it's good to have a good chat with people. Can you explain what these triads... Oh, triads! Triads. You insulting my diction. Triads are so good. Basically... I know you're joking, but they're the little ninja rats of the anti-large. Also do armor sundering, so they're so good at taking down light cav and heavy cav. Perfect for protecting your backline. But GG's all round. Guys, remember, feel free to like and subscribe if you like what you saw. And massive shout out to everyone who took part. Flying Taco, Dutch Skink, who stood in for Lord Zeus as well. Noob for Life, and of course our season's champion, Chosen One. So until next time, guys, anyway, peace, peace, and stay awesome. I'm going to go devour a ridiculous amount of food.